So, willkommen zurück bei Nightmare Frames. Ich hoffe, ich spiele es jetzt in dieser Session auch durch, aber das weiß ich noch nicht. Ihr werdet es wahrscheinlich am Titel dieses Videos sehen. Ich muss mich ein bisschen daran erinnern, wo ich stehen geblieben bin, aber ich wollte ja für die Sektenleute, die da alle im Delirium gerade sind, diese Medizin machen. Dafür habe ich das Bambu-Leaf von meinem Chef abgeknabbert und das Kokain hier von ihm mir, glaube ich, besorgt. Ich weiß gar nicht mehr genau wie. Anyway, damit müsste ja jetzt eigentlich dieses Medikament zu machen sein. Ich musste mich gerade echt mal wieder reinfinden, weil ich habe, glaube ich, über eine Woche nicht mehr gespielt, das Spiel, oder ungefähr eine Woche nicht. Und dann war ich hier schon jetzt gerade erstmal von wegen, warum bin ich hier, wo, was war nochmal jetzt das nächste To-Do? Aber ich fühle mich jetzt wieder eigentlich da ganz gut aufgeräumt. So, das heißt aber eigentlich sollte ja der Job jetzt sein zum... Nein! Ach, das kommt, wenn man... Das ist auch so ein kleines negatives Ding bei dem Spiel. Wenn man die Sachen wegdrückt, dann drückt man auch schnell was Falsches anschließend. Glenn Bishop, oder? Nee, ach, das war der. Ach, scheiße. Dann war es Vine Street, sorry. Ich dachte, das ist der Glenn Bishop, war ich gerade irgendwie, dachte ich gerade, das ist dieser pädophile Fotograf, der da neben der Apotheke ist. Ja, genau, hier will ich hin. Hier rein. So, kann ich mit ihr jetzt direkt reden und sagen, ich habe alles? May I see Dr. Ramirez? He has already told you that I can answer any questions. What do you need? Hä? Ich will doch eigentlich sagen, ich habe jetzt alles. What ingredients did you need? Don't you remember? Bambusodian Falgenleaf? Habe ich. There's a variety of a bamboo that usually reaches a height of about 7 inches. You won't have trouble finding it, it's a very common decorative element. And I've already told Dr. Ramirez that I don't really agree with it. But it's his call in the end. It requires less than half a gram of cocaine. Ah yes, that was it. Thanks a lot. Ach so, vielleicht muss ich ihr das geben, oder was? Here you are. Okay, und so. Aber immerhin schöne Animation. Richtig das Ding auf den Tisch gelegt. Das finde ich schon gut. Gut, thank you. Alright, we are missing just one more ingredient. Alright, the cock. Keep your voice down, please. Habe ich auch. Ups, so übernehmen geklickt. Here you go. Rosa takes the bag of cocaine with a shudder and gives you a disapproving glance. Did Mr. Goldberg bring the ingredients? Yep, here they are. Excellent, I will start working on it. Hey, young man, come over here. I noticed you gave Rosa a bag with some powder. Is it good for bone pain? Get me a little bag of that. How do you take it? Do you dissolve it in water, like an infusion? Mr. Goldberg? If you excuse me, I need to speak with the doctor. The mixture is ready. Do you know how to give an injection? No, but I don't think it will be too hard. First purge the syringe to make sure there is no air in it. Er ist aber auch locker drauf. Ich muss gerade irgendwie an die Szene aus Pulp Fiction denken, wo ich denke, je nachdem, also, Then press on the arm so that the vein becomes visible. And then I stick the needle in it. Damn right. I recommend that you take your friend to the hospital for a full checkup after this. Here you go. Okay. Dann habe ich das Zeug. There's no time. Go to your friend. Thanks, Doc. How much do I owe you? Go talk to... Ah, doesn't matter. Now, if you excuse me, I have to get back to work. Okay. Okay, ist ja weiter jetzt erstmal klar, was man tun soll. Frag mich nur, ich meine, ich habe ja viele Leute, die mich... Wobei, ich habe das auch gesagt gehabt, dann sollte es hoffentlich die Menge ja wohl reichen, um allen da zu helfen. Aber, falls ich mich entscheiden muss, vielleicht sollte ich einmal gleich jetzt aber abspeichern. Okay, die hängen immer noch so rum. Er ist ein bisschen interessiert, ob vielleicht da jetzt irgendwie eine Überraschung ist und die plötzlich weg sind oder so. Ja, wem? Da war auch ein Kind bei, oder? Das ist ein Kind. So, boy. Erstmal helfe ich dem. He'll wake up. You just hope that if he does, he'll become aware of what he's getting himself into. Achso, muss ich das einfach mit allen machen? That guy doesn't need to be forced awake. He'll do it on his own. The doctor states that the big sleep doesn't... Ach so, die haben ja was anderes und bei ihm ist das anders mit dem Herz und so. According to Dr. Ramis, he is out of danger. Ja, okay. It won't do him any harm to rest a little longer in the arms of Morpheus. Okay, aber er muss das bekommen. Are we there yet? Are we in another galaxy? Sort of. This is Los Angeles. Los Angeles? This is a test, isn't it? You are the Dark Lord's envoy, and we are not at the old farm. When I pass the test, the true reality will be revealed, won't it? I'm afraid not. I don't know what kind of shit you took, but you only fell asleep. And in your case, on the verge of death. It didn't work. Damn it. Well, we'll try again. Who are you? My name is Alan Goldberg. Would you like to join Sigma Omicron, Alan Goldberg? No, thank you. I would like to stay alive. What are you doing here, then? Only Sigma Omicron members are allowed here. Achso, sagt er noch, sorry. What am I doing here? Saving your life, you ungrateful bastard. Also actually came to ask you about Edward Keller. Keller war der Name, nicht Richter. Ja. Edward Keller. I hadn't heard that name in a long time. You knew him, didn't you? I didn't really get to know him very much. Joseph and Brian brought him to the commune. He used to worship Satan. Well, more like the three of them. The rest of us were more into free love and getting high on drugs. Ja, man merkt. We called ourselves the House of the Black Light. It was the 60s, you know. What happened to him? I'm trying to find Keller. I don't know, man. Like I told you, I don't know the guy very well. I didn't want to get too close to him either. During the short time he was there, some weird things happened. What kind of stuff? He was a strange guy, much more so than the rest of us. He only spoke to Joseph and Brian. And when he addressed others, he did so with contempt. He treated girls like shit. But that's not the worst part. Once he brought a book. That fucking book. Keller gathered us all together and began to read. To tell you the truth, I don't know exactly what happened. At that time, my head was not working well. I was high all day long, and even more so that night. The thing is, as he was reading, people started to get nervous. Paul had a heart attack. Mike and Sandra shouted that they were somewhere else. And poor Mia, fuck, she tried to rip her eyes out. All because of a book? It was no ordinary book. After that, everyone left the House of the Black Light. Keller left, and Joseph and Brian set up that business. What business? Fuck, man, the Search of Mother Earth. Ist das nicht das, wo hier der Typ der mit unserer Sekretärin flirtet, quasi immer von predigt? Wait a minute, Joseph and Brian? You mean Joseph de Simone and Brian Kinnaman? Who else? The founding fathers. What a pair of scammers. They used to talk about setting up something similar when they were here. If anyone can tell you about Keller, it's them. They were always together. New location, okay, you have to search. I think I pay them a visit. I highly doubt you will be able to talk to them. They are unreachable, and not just anyone can go there. I think of something. I'm leaving. Do these kids a favor and wake them up. And be careful. If I were them, I'd punch you as soon as I opened my eyes. Wake up, slackers. You've got a trip to make. Oh nein, er will das nochmal wieder durchziehen, oder was, der Idiot? Los Angeles is a city full of freaks, for sure. But the ones in there are not just eccentric, they are also dangerous. You decide to do something about it. To the headquarters of the Search of Mother Earth, please. But first, take me to the nearest police station. I need to see what happened there, okay? Aha. Security guard, anschauen. Chris Hartman believes that the Search of Mother Earth is a nest of con artists and that its founders should have landed behind bars a long time ago. This does not detract from the fact that as long as he is paid every month, he performs his work responsibly and professionally. Plakette. You have never understood. Achso, ich bin jetzt bei den Mother Earth Leuten, da steht ein Polizist vor, deswegen war ich, glaube ich, gerade ein bisschen verwirrt. You've never understood the meaning of the symbol of the Search of Mother Earth. According to its founders, it represents the human personification of Mother Earth reaching out to embrace humanity. You have to use your imagination. You only see and why. Wall. The wall surrounding the 100-acre compound prevents a large part of the interior from being visible. Building. Nobody could have thought that in 1970 those two strangers preaching in front of the Chinese theater in Los Angeles would end up founding a religion with a presence in more than 20 countries and whose most famous members would include politicians, actors and influential businessmen. Gut, dann reden wir mal mit dem Mister hier. Mehr sehe ich hier gerade nicht an Hotspots. Is there anything you require, sir? Yes, I would like to talk to Joseph de Simone or Brian Kinnaman. I'm afraid that is not possible, sir. Why isn't it possible? To begin with, you are not a member of the church. And in order to talk to them, there is a hierarchy you need to follow. You should talk to a lower-ranking member for starters. May I speak with a lower-ranking member? Sorry, sir. You must be a member of the church for that. What are the requisites to become a member of the church? I don't know, sir. I only take care of the front gate. Achso, das hat er mir schon gesagt. Okay, tschüss. Ich weiß schon, wo ich hin muss. Ich muss zu Ruskin Productions. Und er wird mir wahrscheinlich jetzt helfen. Ellen, my favorite screenwriter. How can I help you? What do you do in the cult exactly? Ich weiß nicht, ob ich schon mal gefragt habe. Again with that? We're not a cult, we are a legally constituted church. Okay, what? Okay, das habe ich alles schon, das kenne ich schon, den Dialog. I would like to talk with the founders of your church. With Joseph and Brian? Alan, that's impossible. There's a pretty strict protocol for that. Do you have any contact with them? Of course, I'm level 9. Is there any way I can get an interview with the Simon and Kinnaman? For starters, you should belong to the church. Done. What? Are you serious? Totally. About time, Alan. The church needs people like you. I can't believe what I'm hearing. Habe ich jetzt einfach gerade gelogen? Wahrscheinlich, ne? But first I would like to have an interview with them. I have already told you it's impossible, only level 9. I thought you had enough influence in the church to arrange a meeting with them. You know what? It's done. I only have to make a phone call. Hey Pam, can I make a call? You're not going to call that cult from the company phone. What cult? I'll call from the car. I have a phone in there. Do you want one, Ellen? One what? A car? What? No, a phone in your car. I don't have a car. You will. I have to stop somewhere else first. I call on the way. See you in front of the headquarters in... How about in half an hour? Sounds good to me. Ellen, you've just made the best decision of your life. Und sie ist wahrscheinlich erstmal böse auf mich. Ja. Did you hit your head or something? What? Are you really going to join that pack of morons? Me? Not in a million years. I just want to... Never mind. But don't worry, I'm not joining the Church of Mother Earth. Hey, do whatever you want, it's none of my business. But I appreciate you getting rid of that bore. Okay, ist er jetzt schon direkt vor dem Gebäude oder muss ich erstmal noch hier irgendwo anders hin? Okay, erstmal noch weg. Keine Ahnung, dann gehe ich mal kurz nach Hause. ist, glaube ich, aber weiterhin nichts Neues. Also wieder zu Ruskin Productions. Damn, er ist aber noch nicht da. Ach nee, vom Headquarter hat er gesagt. Headquarter meint er nicht Headquarter von Ruskin Productions, sondern Headquarter von der Church, oder? Dann ist er hier einfach. Noch nicht, aber bestimmt kommt er jetzt gleich. Ja. Alan! I thought you were going to ditch me, but here you are. Well, shall we go in? Of course. Not everyone has the privilege of meeting Joseph and Brian in person. Consider yourself lucky. Come on. Good afternoon, Chris. How's the family? Very good, Mr. Crosby. Thank you for your interest. Meet my friend Alan Goldberg, soon to be church member. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Goldberg. I have an appointment. Das sorgt, glaube ich, dafür, dass ich da ab Zukunft jetzt immer rein und raus kann, weil jetzt er Bescheid weiß, hier der Pförtner. We have an appointment with the founding fathers. If you allow us, by all means, go ahead. Ei. James, nice to see you again. Melinda. I went to the movies yesterday to see your latest film. Yes, did you like it? Outstanding, a great performance. Thank you. This must be Alan Goldberg, right? Yes. Alan, this is Belinda Morgan, our public relations officer. My pleasure. That's one of our founders, Brian Kinnaman. Pleased to meet you. I'm honored that you want to join this great family, Alan. And finally, our dear guide, Joseph de Simon. James! Our most international ambassador! Habe ich das mir gerade verlesen? Vielleicht war es auch interesting oder so. Oder war da wirklich? Nee, egal. Oh, I wouldn't go that far. You know what, Alan? Your promotional tours do more for the church than 100 PR people. No offense, Belinda. You always say that. It's the truth. Okay, dear James, let me get to know our future member better. Of course. Come on closer, son. What do you know about our church? Not much. Don't worry. I admit that we can seem a bit hermetic to the outside world. The church is nothing but a conduit for our dear mother's wishes. She has remained silent throughout all human history until 25 years ago, when she decided she had enough. We try as humble as possible to follow her teachings and in the process to progress as a species in order to be more respectful of her. The only purpose of our life is to relieve her cries of pain. According to James, you were skeptical of our doctrine. Tell me, son, what made you change your mind? I'm sick of the life I led. Most of us thought that way before we came in contact with Mother. Do you want to talk about your future in the church? More like your past. What? I need information about Edward Keller. Ich weiß nicht, ob das geschickt ist, ehrlich gesagt. I don't know that name. Is he a member of our church? Not this one. He belongs to the House of the Black Light. Wow. Okay, dieser soundbildes Gesicht. Who is this man, James? Are you a fucking journalist? Edward Keller. You met him in the late 60s in a satanic cult in... Blasphemy! Everyone knows where Joseph was in the late 60s. He was working in his Iowa farm when he received the first revelation from Mother Earth. Yes, he was in a farm, but not in Iowa. It was in Simi Valley. How dare you imply that Joseph is a Satanist? Alright. I'll calm down. Let's not get nervous. I just want to know where I can find Edward Keller. Then I leave and you can keep talking to the Earth or any other planet you want. James! Get this man out of here. Get him away from my sight. I never in my life want to see him again. Alan! You have to go. Help me calm things down a bit here, James. I don't know what the hell I said to make this man freak out like that. Let's get out of here. Do I need to call security? Ich bin aber auch echt ungeschickt. Also, das... Let's go. I'm sorry, Joseph. I had no idea about this. Demote James to level 6. That way he will think twice before bringing this sort of blasphemy into this holy church again. What the hell is wrong with you? What were you thinking of? What did I say? What? You accused Joseph of being a Satanist. Joseph! Kindness personified. Ist the truth, damn it. Ja, aber ist trotzdem ungeschickt. Sorry, so hast du jetzt nichts erfahren. You are lying. I might not be able to convince you that the earth does not speak to that Bible thumper, but believe me when I tell you that this guy is lying, even about his background. I don't want to hear anymore. Do you know what they are going to do with me now, Alan? I'm going to be disciplined. Oh my god, what are you, 2 years old? I'll be demoted. Do you know what that means? Look, James, you're a good guy who's been taken for a ride with all these Mother Earth fantasies. Do yourself a favor and get out of this damn cult. You don't need them. You're rich and have an established career. Career? After this? Go fuck yourself, Alan. Calm down, would you? Go fuck yourself. Ja, Alan... Okay, thank you. Mr. Goldberg? Yeah? I have a message for you. Inside the luxury theater in half an hour. Who is the message from? I don't know, Mr. Goldberg. It's coming from there. I can't say more. Well, thanks, I guess. New location Luxury Theater. Ich glaube nicht, dass es, vielleicht war es der Kerl im Hintergrund, der Simon. War das Simon? Vielleicht war er das. Er ist so ruhig geblieben auch. Ich glaube nicht, dass die PR-Frau das war. Auch die ist es eher, als dass es der Typ, der rechts stand, war. Gott, ich und Namen, ey. Gut, dann kann ich da direkt hin. Ich frage mich, ob der Notizzettel irgendwann unsere zweite Seite bekommt oder dass dann hier bald alle Locations sind. Ticket clerk. In the half light of the ticket booth, you see a bored clerk struggling not to fall asleep. Doors. The night before, a couple of moral crusaders threw eggs at the door of the luxury while hurling homophobic insults. They then beat up a poor beggar 2 streets down. They arrived home early. One of them had to get up early for work. He was an E6 teacher. Okay, das Spiel hat schon seinen zynischen Unterton. Das ist mein Film. For a moment you thought the luxury was exhibiting melodies for heaven. Ja, dachte ich auch kurz. The distributor of Ebonifier has used the original movie poster of the film you wrote and had a muscular stud painted on top of Catherine Ryan. The arrival of VHS dealt a devastating blow to X-rated theaters, to the dismay of exhibitors and the delight of all who were now able to give in to their basest passions in the comfort of their own homes. There are very few left in LA today. The Luxury is one of them. Ach so, das ist quasi ein Pornokino. Das verstehe ich jetzt erst, oder? Loving Harry, 7:30 Uhr, One Week in Greece. Ist das die One Night in Paris? Greece kann man ja auch könnte man auch durchaus eine Frau nennen, ne? Bei One Week ist da natürlich ein bisschen egal. Kann man da jetzt einfach reingehen? Ja, ne? Ne? Das ist also Exit Doors. So, the guys like you don't try to sneak in. Okay, dann, aber da kann man wahrscheinlich nicht rein, muss wahrscheinlich erstmal ein Ticket kaufen. Okay, das ist sie. Wouldn't it be great if everything were free? Buy a ticket if you want to enter the movie theater. Okay, dann kaufe ich halt ein Ticket. Hello. Are the movies worth it? Oh yes, both were nominated for the Golden Globes last year. They are just porn movies, dude. If they get you horny, they've done their job. Someone is waiting for me inside. Sounds good to me. But no sex in the screening room. Find yourself a motel when you get out of the theater. Ein-Mann Goldberg. Has anyone asked for me? The clerk gives you a condescending look. Okay, one ticket please. 250. Here you go. Okay. Thank you. Kann ich rein? Ich habe ein Achievement bekommen. Mhm. No manner. Good, you are now inside the luxury. But there are a lot of people here. Who could have summoned you? Ist natürlich ein schöner Ort, ne? Man kann, also für so ein Treffen, weil man kann nicht... Ist das ein Priester? Man kann nicht jetzt hier jemanden unbedingt ermorden, das wird schon auffallen vor den Leuten, aber für leichte Sachen, wenn die Leute dann auch nicht sagen, also quasi als Zeuge dastehen, weil sie wahrscheinlich nicht zugeben wollen, in diesem Kino gewesen zu sein. Kann ich mir jetzt alle Spectator hier anschauen? Mike is in charge of keeping order in the room. Today everything seems quiet. Charlie Donovan tries to be edgy at the gathering of intellectuals by saying that the porn films of the 70s were on a par with the new Hollywood films of the same decade. Since then, and to be consistent with himself, he goes to all the porn theaters that show these films trying to find something to justify his faux pas. Willis Jones is not interested in porn in the slightest. He lives with 5 roommates in a small apartment and is not in any rush to get home. He just wants to enjoy the air conditioning, drink a beer and maybe take a nap. Frank Ramos is obsessed with Randy Sands, the star of Loving Harry, to the point of wearing the same look as him. A couple of days ago he found out that the luxury's days are numbered and he wanted to see his idol on the big screen before this type of theater becomes an anachronism. Ich wohne ja in Hamburg, ne? Und ich glaube, auf St. Pauli gibt es immer noch mindestens ein Sexkino. Und ich denke immer manchmal, allein aus wirklich so historischen Gründen müsste man sich das eigentlich mal geben. Aber das ist natürlich schon unangenehm. Eigentlich bräuchte man welche Buddies, mit denen man zusammen da reingeht, weil alleine. Na, keine Ahnung. Aber irgendwie, ich meine, es ist halt wirklich ziemlich ausgestorben. Eine ziemlich ausgestorbene, ja, ich weiß nicht, ob ich jetzt kulturelle Sache sagen will, aber egal. Kann ich jetzt. I guess that's the person you're looking for. Charlie Donovan is not the person you're looking for. Willie Jones is not the person you're looking for. Frank Ramos is not the person you're looking for. Okay, ich gehe die einfach weiter durch. Tucker Dixon was unsure of his sexuality before entering the luxury this afternoon. Not anymore. Vince Castillo's innocence led him to come into the luxury believing that Loving Harry was a romantic movie and now he can't believe what he's seeing. Oder ist das sogar? Das ist Brian Kinnaman, okay. One of the founders of Father Earth of the Church of Mother Earth. He is definitely the person who asked you to come here. Okay, ich gucke mir erstmal die weiteren hier an. Arnold Payne used to make some extra money by relieving the most aroused members of the audience, as long as they are awake. What Russell Fletcher likes the most about this type of film are the dialogue scenes. Right now he's getting bored during the action scenes. Spencer Elliott has been fighting for gay rights his whole life. He was at Stonewall and marched in San Francisco alongside Harvey Milk. Ah, guter Film übrigens, Milk mit Sean Penn. When he feels nostalgic, he goes to the luxury because the aesthetics of the 70s films bring him back to that era. Gabriel St. Martin, ist auch ein geiler Name, enjoys this type of cinema so much that his experience is not complete without the popcorn he brings from home. It seems that Clark Hammond wasn't in a hurry to get home after his interview with Eliza. Ach, er ist das! Haha! Kann ich mit ihm reden? Nee, leider nicht. Hank Miller leads an apparently happy life with his wife and 3 children. However, his greatest fantasy is to have sex with a man. But his fidelity to his wife prevents him from doing so. The only thing he can do is to come to the luxury and let his imagination run free. Bin mir gerade aber noch nicht sicher, ob das jetzt hier gerade ein Hetero-Pornofilm ist, der da läuft, oder ein Gay-Film. Weil, ich meine, bei ihm hieß es zum Beispiel, ach so, scheiße, nee, Randy Sands ist natürlich ein Typ. Okay. Tom Hellman is really horny and is thinking about unbuttoning his fly. Several parishioners have complained to Father Guthrie about the luxury's obscene programming, and he wanted to check it out for himself. He likes what he is seeing, but he is not going to change a single comma from the sermon he already had prepared. He owes himself to his audience. Dave Loeb has heard rumors that a guy named Arnold is doing some little jobs inside the luxury. Before the second film begins, he will get up from his seat and ask people one by one who Arnold is. Okay, ich rede mal mit ihm. Goldberg, I'm glad you came. Das ist auch ein Ort, wo man ziemlich sicher ist, dass nicht so leicht andere sich hier reinsneaken. Nice place to meet up. After what happened to the church, I don't want to risk anyone seeing me with you. You know what the church thinks about homosexuality, right? So what better place than this to be able to talk at ease? No one would believe that one of the founders of the church has been seen in a gay porn theater. Ja, aber das dachte ich mir auch. And what the hell, I wanted to watch something interesting while I waited for you. Okay. What the hell happened to the church? Please excuse Joseph. He has been taking this persona of his quite serious for years. He actually believes he grew up on a farm until the late 1960s when Mother Earth spoke to him. He has forgotten everything that happened in the House of the Black Light, or so he would have people believe. He went ballistic. He has worked too hard on his messiah complex for a stranger to come along and take his story apart. Forget about him. You knew Keller, didn't you? Of course. Keller is the House of the Black Light. We were there. How did you find out? Perhaps it is true that I'm a seeker? Oh, where's das? Okay. So, Edward Keller, what is your interest in him? Goldberg? I'm looking for his lost film. I can tell you about it. Edward, Joseph, and I met in the mid-60s. We bonded over our fascination with demonology and Satanism. At the time, Los Angeles was a counterculture hive. Anything that departed from the norm was welcome. And Satanism fascinated all of us young people in the counterculture. We heard of the existence of a 14th century book written by a European aristocrat who had an interest in alchemy. A treatise, vielleicht, on primordial fear was one of his best-known works. What's the book about? No one knows, but it's rumored that it was written in human blood and that it could have an influence on whoever read it. For power-hungry men like Joseph and Edward, that was a godsend. Since we didn't even have a place to drop dead, we founded the House of the Black Light with the intention of having a place to live in and from where we could conduct our search for the book. But it got out of hand. As more new members arrived, we abandoned our research and turned to drugs and free sex. Those were good times, I must admit, or they would have been if it wasn't for Edward. What happened with Edward? He was a psychopath. He enjoyed using fear to control people. His own wife and daughter feared him. He reveled in it. He began to impose punishments on members who didn't follow certain rules. I objected to it, but Joseph seemed delighted with the idea. What kind of punishments? Branding people with a hot iron. Ich muss gerade an Yellowstone denken, gute Serie auf Paramount Plus. Pulling out their fingernails, okay, das passiert ja nicht. Leaving them locked up for 3 days in the water tank. Barbaric shit, Goldberg. I still feel guilty that I didn't put an end to it. People accepted it without complaint. Joseph took good care of brainwashing them. Once I asked Edward why he was doing all those things, I could read between the lines that he had a horrific childhood. He knew what it was like to live in constant fear, and he wanted everyone to experience the same thing. It didn't make sense to me, but as I said, Edward was a psychopath. Anyway, we had already forgotten the purpose of the House of the Black Light. Edward had some success with his movie Bloody Mind Games. Joseph enjoyed being the leader, and I just hung around. Edward got us all together one night. I don't know how, but he had managed to get that damn book. We sat in a circle and began to read some passages. The words were jumbled and the whole text was gibberish. But as he read on, we felt fear. No, way more than that. Have you ever had a bad LSD trip, Goldberg? No. Multiple Z by 10. We felt like we were someplace else and that we were all going to die. It's hard to explain, but we were taken to, I don't know, it looked like hell in there. People began to cry out in despair while Edward kept reciting the text as if in a trance. I had to put an end to it, so I snatched the book out of his hands. Everything vanished at once, and what I saw took my breath away. Powell died of a heart attack. His hair had turned white. Mia Washington had been abused as a child by her father. She had ripped her eyes out as he screamed that her father had appeared there with the intention of abusing her again. It was real, Goldberg. It's hard to believe. I'm not asking you to, but why did we all see the same thing? Collective hysteria? Far too easy. That's what you say when you can't explain a shared phenomenon. What happened next? After that, we decided to put an end to the House of the Black Light. We would have done it anyway. Some days earlier, the mentioned thing had happened. So the days of... Ach so, Manson, der Mörder, oder? Gott, ich stehe gerade auf dem Schlauch, aber der, glaube ich, vorkommt hier auch in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood mit Brad Pitt und so, von Tarantino. So the days of Satanism were numbered. We had been thinking about founding something like the Church of Mother Earth from some time. Der war von Tarantino, oder? So Joseph and I decided to go ahead with the idea. Edward told us that he knew how to replicate the treatise on primordial fear. He had found a way to do it. He found the key in the memoirs of a cursed painter who had tried to emulate the effects of the book using a picture painted with blood. He asked us to work with him in a small town in Sacramento. What was it called? It was in Sacramento. I think it was called Serena? Yes, that's it, Serena. But we didn't want to know anything about it and cut ties with him. So, Serena. Is there where Keller might be? I don't know if he's still there. Hell, I don't even know if the bastard is still alive. But that's the last location I can place him in. By the way, the last thing he said before he left was that the world would experience the greatest fear ever conceived. I think that book completely changed him. I think I have no choice but to visit that town. Will you update me on your findings when you return? I have never believed in the supernatural, and for many years I've been peddling a lie with the Church of Mother Earth. Ja, aber warum? I know that what I saw that night was real. I need to know if that son of a bitch managed to create something like a treatise of primordial fear. I just want to find that movie. I'm not interested in tales of black magic. Be careful, Goldberg. Maybe your visit to Serena will make you rethink some things. I'd opt that. I have to go, Kinnaman. Thanks for the information. A word of advice, Goldberg. Watch out for Keller if he is still alive. So, jetzt bin ich gespannt, ob dieser Spion-Typ da noch steht. Ja. Ach, der stand doch auch... Ach, der stand vor dem Fotoding rum, ne? Enjoying the seventh hours, Mr. Goldberg? You again. This time I came with my boss. He did not take your refusal very well. It breaks my heart. Get in the car, please. My boss is waiting inside for you. Look, Paul, I don't want anything to do with your boss. I think I have made it clear. You just have to listen to what he has to tell you. I promise you won't regret wasting a mere 10 minutes of your time. I insist. And then I'll get rid of you? Probably. It's a tempting offer I can't refuse. Would you like me to open the door for you? It is not necessary. Can't miss it. Ist das jetzt Keller? Ist die Frage. Mr. Goldberg. It's a pleasure to meet you. Tom? Let's go for a ride with Mr. Goldberg. Do you know who I am, Mr. Goldberg? David Ross. War nochmal David Ross. You usually make it to the top of the Forbes list every year. I'd rather be on People magazine's hottest list, but I don't think they cover my age range. First of all, forgive me for jumping you like this. I'm not used to someone turning down a business proposal, but I don't blame you. Tom may not have explained himself too well. What do you want? You've probably worn clothes I've manufactured, eaten food that comes out of my factory, or stayed in a hotel I own. They are very lucrative, yet boring businesses. What I really live for is my love of cinema, specifically horror films. And there is no greater pleasure than to hold in your hands than to hold in your hands a lost film that no one has seen. My biggest problem is that, unlike Helen, I have no luck with my seekers. I have to admit that she has a better eye for that. What have you found out about Edward Keller's lost film? How did you know? News travel fast among collectors. How about $1 million for sharing your information with me? 2, if I consider it excellent. 2? $2 million, yes. Right there, right now, I can write you a check. I don't know what Helen has promised you, but keep in mind that she won't give it to you if you don't get the film. I, on the other hand, offer you a considerable sum for what you know so far. Tell me, what do you think of my offer? It sounds tempting, but Helen Westmore has offered me so much more. Forget about Helen. That film has been missing for more than 2 decades. Do you think you are going to find it on your own? Put yourself in my shoes. I have to give it a try. What the hell is wrong with you? Does Ruskin pay that well? When you realize you've hit a dead end looking for Keller's film, you'll come back to me begging for my money. And I might have the same information as you do by then, you miserable bastard. Okay, er gibt aber schnell auf mich zu überzeugen. Look, Mr. Ross, I didn't get up this morning to be insulted by someone like you. Can I get out of the car? Tom! Take Mr. Goldberg home. How do you know where I live? By the way, sir, I know everything. $2 million. You keep going over Ross's words in your head. Could he be right? Is Serena just a dead end? $2 million. It's not just money you want, so is it? I don't even know what I'm looking for. Okay. Kann ich jetzt nach Sacramento einfach hin? Nach Serena? After dropping off all the items you no longer need, you walk through the door hoping to find Edward Keller's film in Serena. Okay, das ist ein neues Kapitel quasi. Ich verliere alle Items offensichtlich. As a fellow traveler, you get the giddy feeling of coming back empty-handed after turning down $2 million. Okay. Hey you, the one in the back. Wake up. Me? Who else? There's no one left in the bus. No one else left. End of the line. In the middle of nowhere? I already warned you that I was not going to enter Serena. This is as close as I can get. At the bus station, they told me that the bus station keeps ignoring our complaints. We are sick and tired of telling them to stop selling tickets to Serena. What the hell? They should get rid of the stop. No one travels to Serena. Except for you. I don't know what business you have there, but if you want to come back with me to Sacramento, now's the time. No, that's not possible. In that case, you're stopped, sir. But, you're stopped, sir. You're going to leave me in the middle of nowhere during a storm? The arena is half a mile from here. What's your problem with the arena? Why don't you want to go there? Ja, das ist jetzt die wirklich interessante Frage. Things happen there. What kind of stuff? The driver goes silent and you can tell by the look on his face that he is not going to say anything else. Shit. Ein Achievement bekommen? Was? Maybe it's because the cold and rain, but from the outside the bus looks cozier than you thought it would during the ride. Driver? The driver blocks the door to prevent you from getting back on the bus and making a scene. Kann ich mit dir reden nochmal? Oh. Can I wait inside for the storm to pass? I have to go back to the station. I don't want to spend another minute here. Aren't you leaving? Why are you staying there? Go to Serena or come back with me to Sacramento. Choose. What's in Serena that makes you so reluctant to drive there? The driver does not answer your question. If there's no other way, be careful there. Ich speichere mal unter neuen Spielstand ab. Ich habe das Gefühl, ich weiß nicht, ich habe das Gefühl, inhaltlich, dass das Spiel noch länger dauert. Aber von den Achievements und allem her, habe ich auch das Gefühl, dass es da jetzt nochmal so der finale Showdown-Place so ein bisschen sein könnte, der aber auch schon noch vielleicht 1-2 Stündchen dauert. Okay, dann gehe ich mal zu Serena, hä? Will ich ein bisschen durch nach Silent Hill laufen. Shit. Shit. Wow, das sieht auch fast aus wie Silent Hill. Ganz schön runtergekommen hier. After a long struggle against the elements, you arrive at Serena soaking wet and shivering. Your plan is to find a hostel to shelter you from the rain, but the whole town seems to be abandoned. Immerhin habe ich noch mein Geld. Gut. Hä? Keinerlei? Oh. Freeze! What? Not a single step further or I blow your brains out. And hands where I can see them. Oh shit. Kommen wir jetzt erstmal ins Gefängnis? Oder ist das ein Cop à la Pulp Fiction? Und hier ist eine Plastikkugel im Bund. Nee, immerhin. Either the constant sound of rain on the roof nor the annoyance musty smell have prevented you from sleeping relatively well. Also nothing made you think the day before that you would end up in the cell of a police station in a godforsaken town. Okay, mirror. All that remains of the mirror is a couple of shards of glass. Some prisoner probably broke it with the intention of using it as a weapon against the chief or himself. Benutzen? Spending your days co-opted up struggling with a script for Lunatic 2, wandering from one end of Hollywood to the other, and the rough night you have been through are starting to take its toll on you. Astounding Effects would be happy to use you as a model for one of their creatures. Ach so, das ist, weil ich jetzt reingeguckt habe und so scheiße aussehe. Sink, anschauen. Inside the sink is a mixture of mold, rust and other unknown forms of religion. Benutzen. It can't be used. The faucet has been ripped off. Okay, dann haben wir... Das Bett ist nicht mal was. Die Tür... If there's one thing you love more than cinema, it's your freedom, and feeling deprived of it makes you anxious. Benutzen? Oh! What? The door was open. Without hesitation, you decide to leave the cell. Auch wieder schön zu machen. You slam the cell door with the intention of never setting foot in one ever again. Stuff. You've been accompanied all night by the sound of a drop falling on the metal stove, as if it were the second hand of a wind-up clock. Benutzen. A layer of rust coats the metal stove, and the little door probably won't budge because of it. In any case, you don't need to open it. Die Ladder anschauen. Der geht immerhin hin. A ladder whose steps are either rotten or have been eaten by termites. Benutzen. The steps would not be able to support your weight due to the poor condition. It would be dangerous to climb on it. Basket anschauen. Dozens of pieces of clothing are piled up in the basket, absorbing moisture and mildew. Benutzen. The clothes in the basket are floating in a mixture of mold and water. You don't want to stick your hand in there. Shelves. Everything on the shelves has been ruined by moisture or rust. Anschauen. It's all useless. You don't need anything from there. Hand lever press. Anschauen. A simple tool used to secure components in place in order to work on them. Be careful when applying force on the lever. You could break something. You can use a press if you need to force something open. But it's missing the handle that turns the screw. Okay, washing machine. An old washing machine covered in rust and mold that has seen better days rests in that corner. Benutzen? The washing machine door won't open. It doesn't matter much anyway, since the washer stopped working in 79. Okay, dann ist hier aktuell offensichtlich erstmal nix. Gehe ich mal raus. Gucken, ob ich jetzt den Polizei in die Arme laufe. Natürlich. Goldberg. The cell door was unlocked and I unlocked it. I called all the places you told me. Ruskin Productions, Steiner, Astounding Effects. Your alibi is pretty solid. As far as I am concerned, you weren't in Serena during the last 5 days. I already said so in my statement. I've never been here before. Yes, of course. I have no doubts about that. As far as the law is concerned, you are a free man. I'm sorry for giving you a hard time. What's done is done. Oh, and by the way, I've been speaking with Eliza. Wait till the folks at Wade Creek hear about this. Great girl, isn't she? Very nice. By the way, I'm Police Chief Bowman, but you can call me Rick. Can I drop the formalities and call you Ellen? Yeah, sure. Okay, Ellen, how can I help you? Do you have any coffee? I need some. Of course, it's right next to the door. Help yourself. It's from yesterday, but I warmed it up in the radiator. Works for me. There's not a lot of luxuries in this police station. I try to spruce it up a bit every time I come here. As I was saying, sorry for the misunderstanding last night. But you gotta understand, 3 days ago a little girl went missing. Sarah Jordan, 14 years old. It doesn't seem likely that she ran away. The girl is a little slow. She has special needs, if you know what I mean. We swept the town and the surrounding area. The fact that you, a complete stranger, showed up in town in the middle of the night made you a suspect. Makes sense. No hard feelings. You were doing your job. I'm glad you feel that way. So, Ellen, you mentioned a guy named Keller? That is what brought you to this town? Do you know Edward Keller? No, last night was the first time I heard of him. You mentioned that he probably ended up in Serena. That's right, a reporter interviewed him in the early 1970s. That was a long time ago. He could be somewhere else. Probably, but it's the only lead I have on him. I can ask some questions around town about Keller or about that reporter. Someone should remember. It would be nice of you, especially after I made you sleep in that dump back there. The cells are a mess. I had to say it. Only the cells? The whole police station? What the hell? The whole town? Serena lost its municipality status in 1980. Now everything is managed from Wade Creek. I'm the chief of police there. I come here once a month to check that everything is okay, except in the case of an emergency, of course, like what happened to poor Sarah Jordan. And when I have a day off, I sometimes drop by to clean up a bit. Where can I find the former chief of police? You might know something about Keller. Marvin Floyd? He died 4 years ago. He left his position in the mid-70s. Poor Floyd spent his last years in a wheelchair. Last year, the Wade Creek City Council realized that Serena hadn't a police chief for over a decade, and, well, here I am. The guy who brought me didn't want to come into Serena. Serena does not have much of a reputation around these parts, and it's not like its people are very welcoming either. It's not that, he looked scared. Yeah, well, nothing but misfortune has happened here since the town was founded. One of the worst tragedies to ever strike the town was the fire at the Clark Morgan High School. All the students perished in it. That's horrible. On top of that, the locals believe they see things. Also, I'm not surprised that after all these folks have been through, they are a bit of the rocker. I think it's also because of the water. The river has been polluted for decades, but they don't seem to care. What kind of things do the people in Serena think they see? I don't know, visions or something like that. It's like they are on a permanent bad trip, you know? If you talk to them, they will try to convince you that they see ghosts. Don't play along. Are you done with the coffee? Yes. Come closer, I need to ask you a favor. Uh-oh. The search for Sarah Jordan concluded yesterday. There is no trace of her. I've managed to convince two guys from the town, Mike Reeves and Fred Munson, to do a new sweep. Mike Reeves and Fred Munson. Mike and Fred. MF. They don't want poor Sarah to meet the same fate as Mary Elizabeth Hellman, a girl who disappeared 10 years ago. Well, to the point. Half an hour ago, Gordon Daggett, a guy who lives on the outskirts of town, called and said his dog had been killed. I have to take care of that, but Sarah Jordan is my priority. Would you go over to Daggett's house and see what that's all about? I'm not a cop, but I can make you a deputy. What do you say? You just have to go there, listen to what he has to say, and take note of everything. And take a look at the corpse too. That's all? Simple, huh? When the sweep is over, I'll talk to some of the locals and see if they know anything about Keller. Alright, I'll do it. Great. By the power vested in me by the law. Just kidding. There's a map in the info panel. I've marked Gordon Daggett's house for you. Well, I gotta go. The boys are waiting for me. By the way, grab that jacket there on the hanger. It was Chief Floyd's. It will come handy. The weather's nasty out there. Damn rain. Okay, speicher mal ab. Immer noch viel zu lesen gerade wieder, ey. Ich muss gerade ein bisschen an The Heat of the Night denken mit, Sidney Poitier aus den 60ern. Guter Film. Ein bisschen andere Voraussetzungen. Also auch er wird erstmal fälschlicherweise festgenommen und hilft dann aber bei einem Mordfall. Allerdings hat der Film noch viel mit Rassismus zu tun, das ist jetzt hier weniger der Fall. Aber auch das ist auch so ein bisschen so ein verschlafenes Nest irgendwie. Egal. So, was haben wir denn jetzt hier alles? Phone, anschauen. Due to the fact that Serena's telephone service has not been updated since the 1930s, the town still maintains Margaret Swanson, age 84, as its operator. Benutzen? This is Margaret speaking to you from Serena. Who would you like to talk to, Chief? I'm not the Chief. You're speaking from the Chief's office. Yeah, but I'm not the Chief. Alright. Who would you like to talk to? Okay, ich mach das erstmal einfach. Call Ruskin Productions, Hollywood. Chief Bowman called this morning. I think I have the number here. Yes, here it is. Just a moment, please. Ruskin Productions, Pam speaking. Hi, Pam. Ellen. Christopher has been trying to contact you, but he couldn't reach you. He wanted to suggest a scene for the second act. I'm not in LA right now. Where Serena, near Sacramento. In search for inspiration? More like looking to change my luck. When are you coming back? Soon, I hope. That's fine with me, Alan. Use the time to clear your mind, okay? I'll certainly try. Do you need anything? No, I'm fine. Then I'll let you go for now. I've got a call on the other line. Take care. Okay, call Joe Steiner. Yes, I got the number here. The chief has been talking to them tonight. Just a moment, please. Joe Steiner? Best burgers in all Hollywood. I'm Karen. How can I help you? Do I always have to say that, Joe? Karen, it's Alan. Vicky isn't here, Alan. You wanted to talk to her, didn't you? Yes, actually. You miss her, huh? You two should fix things up. Anyway, she dropped by this morning to see if you were around. She is very happy with the shoot and wanted to thank you. Who is it? Alan. Give me the phone. Der Gesichtsausdruck lässt schon böse an. Hey you! Was it enough leaving me without a waitress that now you have to distract the only one I have left? Aren't you happy that Vicky has achieved her dream? In a movie where she has to show her boobs? Well, yes, I'm happy for her. But we are up to our ears in work, so don't sidetrack the stuff, okay? I just wanted to... Okay. Oh, achievement. I just called to say I love you. Found Vicky from Serena. Okay, hang up. Bei Achievements war ich auch schon recht weit, ne? Auch das lässt mich eigentlich vermuten, dass das Spiel jetzt nicht mehr so ewig dauert. So, Bulletin Board. Most wanted posters, emergency phone numbers, and the occasional memo, all dating back to the last decade. Those folks are probably behind bars and the phones are no longer operational. The C-map of Serena area. Benutzen? Ah, you have a map of Serena and the surrounding area. Ja? Achso, wahrscheinlich wenn ich rausgehe, kann ich dann sagen, wo ich hin möchte. Statt Taxi. Schätze ich mal. File Cabinet. The filing cabinet holds 2 decades of police reports. Benutzen? You set out to search the drawers one by one in case there's any reference to Keller's name among the reports. This will take a while. Oh. Nothing, I wasted my time. Missing person poster. Marvin Floyd, Serena's former police chief, spent the last year of his life trying to solve the disappearance of Mary Elizabeth Hellman. Also wir haben diese Mary und diese neue Mary. He did not succeed. Nowadays everyone believes her to be dead. Benutzen? Oh. Missing Mary Elizabeth Hellman. Achso, da steht jetzt auch nochmal so. Okay, nice. 13 years old, 5'8" tall, brown eyes, black hair, red sweater, gray skirts. Last seen November 17th, 1975 in Serena. Call 555-5032 to contact Chief Floyd or her parents at 555-3216. Kann ich die jetzt anrufen? Nee, noch nicht zumindest. Watercooler. A green, smiley liquid floats inside the drum. Benutzen? You don't mean to drink that, do you? Box anschauen. Several police reports on the verge of falling apart due to the humidity rest inside a mold-covered box. Could it be that Keller's name was mentioned in one of them? Anschauen. You look through the papers. Keller's name does not appear in any of them. Hanger. The jacket that belongs to Chief Floyd is on the hanger. Benutzen? Okay. You take Chief Floyd's jacket as recommended by Rick Bowman. It has a double lining and is made of leather, which will keep out the rain. Coffee maker. Anschauen. There's some coffee left. Benutzen? No, 1 cup was enough. It's the worst coffee you've ever had in your life, but you needed your daily dose of caffeine after waking up. Was ist das Kleine da? Das ist nix. Wahrscheinlich so ein Zucker, Sahne, was auch immer. Ding. Sahne wahrscheinlich nicht. Fotos. The pictures show the police station's exterior in 3 different periods: 1890, 1925 and 1968. We don't need the pictures. Ich gehe nochmal zurück in die Cells. Aber hier ist wahrscheinlich nichts. Weiterhin nichts Spannendes. Gut, dann gehen wir mal raus. Und ich erwarte jetzt, dass die Karte aufgeht. Und ich mir... Okay, nee, doch noch nicht. Missing Person Poster. An old Mary Elizabeth Hellman church poster has weathered the elements since the 1970s. Chief Floyd used to renew any posters that got damaged. He is no longer with us to do so. Okay. Es wird auf jeden Fall sehr deutlich gemacht, dass es diese Mary auch mal gab. Okay, aber... Oh, warte. Hier geht's weiter, als ich dachte. Was ist nochmal im Morgue? Anschauen? Serena's Morgue. One of the busiest places in the last 100 years. Ist das Leichenbestatter? Bin ich sicher. Closed. Geht's da auch? Ne, da kann man gar nicht raus. Ups, ich wollte nicht wieder reingehen. So. Okay, es gibt nur einen Ort bisher. Gordon Daggett. Ja, okay, wir mit getöteten Hund. Ich glaube, ich werde 2 Sessions noch machen. Ich werde noch ein Stündchen vielleicht spielen, aber das wird, glaube ich, nicht reichen für das Spiel. Dann mache ich noch eine finale Session irgendwie demnächst. Woodchat. Anschauen. People tend to think that California has an arid climate, but there are some areas where the winter is very harsh. Serena also has a special microclimate. As long as his woodshed is not empty, the cold is no problem for Gordon Daggett. Nutzen. Gordon Daggett struggles with back pain and has difficulty wielding an axe to cut firewood. Also, he would certainly have no problem using it to threaten anyone who dare to snoop in his woodshed. Logball, anschauen. Milo's diet consisted of chunks of stale bread and the occasional bone from the animals Gordon Daggett butchered. Benutzen. Okay, piece of bread. Doghouse anschauen. Despite his affection for his pet, Gordon Daggett forbade him from entering the cabin. Benutzen. There's nothing inside except traces of hair and the occasional chicken bone. Eggs anschauen. Gordon Daggett is stronger than he looks. Benutzen. Gordon Daggett would not be pleased if you took his eggs. Animal anschauen. The carcass of a poor fawn hangs on the wall while the flies hover over it. Benutzen. The corpse radiates a terrible smell. You don't know how long it has been there, but probably too long in any case. Pals anschauen. Several pals hang from the porch. You find it difficult to identify which animals they belong to. Benutzen. The fate of these animals upsets you so much that you would not wear one even under the threat of severe hypothermia. Well, if it came to that, yes, maybe you would. Window, anschauen. Solidified dust accumulates on the window panes. Benutzen. The dirt accumulates on the glass and the darkness inside the cabin make it different for you to see clearly. Okay, Tür anschauen. You don't see a doorbell next to the door. Benutzen. You hear a gun being cocked on the other side of the door. Shit. Alter, kannst doch wenigstens mal fragen. Take that, you motherfucking witch. What the fuck are you doing? You don't sound like a witch. That's because I'm not a witch. Who are you? I'm Alan Goldberg. I'm Bowman's deputy. Bowman has no deputy. He does now, goddammit. Alright. Get off the porch and stand in front of the house. I'm coming out. If this is a trick, I'll blow your head off, you goddamn witch. You look like a man and dress like the deputy chief of police. Prove to me that you are not fucking with me, witch. You know what? I only came here to help, and I will not tolerate having a shotgun pointed at my face. I'm leaving. Wait! Did Chief Bowman really send you? Yes, damn it. And put that damn gun down. Okay, it's nothing personal. I just had to be sure. Let's get this over with. Bowman told me that... Bowman, huh? Why hasn't he come in person? You can tell he is not one of us. He's looking for that girl, Sarah. Sarah Jordan? The last remaining young person in Serena. God sure knows how to punish us. The chief should stop looking for her. She'll never show up. Like Mary Elizabeth Hellman. Anyway, come with me. Ob die Helma nachher die Witch ist? Good God, what's that smell? The river. You get used to it. All the White Creek factories used to dump their waste here years ago. They used Serena as a sewer. Do the town folks drink this water? Do we have a choice? Focus on what you came here for. There's Milo. She came out of those bushes on the other side and made her way through the rocks. Then she attacked Milo and began to eat him. Who? The witch, damn it! She was crawling on her belly like she was a snake. She only used her arms to move. Maybe your imagination was playing tricks on you. Maybe what you saw was... It was a witch! I saw her just like I'm seeing you. Alright, calm down. I take a look at your dog's corpse and report back to Chief Bowman. Do what you have to do, I'm leaving. I don't want to be here in case that witch shows up again. Before you go, may I ask you something? Spit it out. Does the name Edward Keller sound familiar? The Hollywood guy? Yes, exactly. Oh, cool, canteen. What about him? Is he still in town? I don't think so. He hasn't been seen for years. Did you get to know him? No, he didn't talk to anyone, except the journalist who lived here at the time. I don't remember his name. Maybe Robert Saxon remembers. Ask him. He used to be friends with that guy. Where can I find him? Now? At the bridge. He's usually over there at this time. His wife hanged herself from it. He goes there every day. New location? Bridge. When you're done, let me know. I'll take Milo out of here and bury him. And tell Bowman to arm all the men in town. We must hunt down that infernal creature. Bin mal gespannt, ob das Spiel nachher wirklich übernatürlich wird oder ob das einfach irgendwie alles vernünftig erklären lässt. Okay, schauen wir uns mal Milo an. Milo, Gone Daggett's dog, lies on the ground, victim of a horrific attack. Oh. Okay, ich kann mir verschiedene Sachen jetzt angucken. Belly. The dog's belly has been cut open. We don't know much about canine anatomy, but you'd swear some organs are missing. Benutzen? The dog's belly has been cut open. Achso, das ist nochmal das gleiche. Nails, anschauen. There's blood on his nails, which indicates that Milo tried to get away from his attacker. Benutzen. There's... Okay, dann sagt er wieder das gleiche. Muzzle. The muzzle is completely dislocated as if the upper and lower jaw had been forced violently in opposite directions. Was ist das? Stone. What strikes you the most about the whole scene is a stone. It appears to have been used to violently bash his skull in. Ist ja sonst noch was? You have finished examining the scene. Let Gone Daggett know that he can now remove the dog from here. Ist hier sonst noch was? River, anschauen. Before the state's water quality law was passed, Wade Creek dumped tons of chemical waste into the river, giving it the stench it has even to this day. Benutzen. This river should be declared a disaster zone. Railway track, schauen. Wade Creek has two railroads. This one that you see is used primarily to supply materials to its factories. Benutzen. Lots of the freight trains pass through here every day. If you wait, you may see one go by. Ja, einen habe ich ja vorhin schon gesehen. Was ich übrigens wieder cool finde, dass das Spiel so eine Animation und sowas hat. Auch hier muss ich wieder sagen, das Wasser hier, was so rumplätschert, hier diese Pflanzen, die so rumwackeln. Es ist schon, es ist der Zug, auch die Sounds sind sehr realistisch. Das Spiel hat schon so eine ganz schön. Oh, zwei? Ach so, das ist dann direkt da. Ich soll ihm erstmal Bescheid sagen, dass er den Hund wegnehmen kann. Dann mache ich das mal als erstes. I finished examining Milo. Thank you. I will prepare the stuff to bury him. Okay, so, dann gehe ich mal zu der Brücke. Das ist auch die Brücke, die ich gesehen habe, ne? You seem to have lost your way trying to find a shortcut to the bridge. Okay. Good lord. Wow. Remains. The Scotch body is missing its lower limbs. Perhaps they are among the smoking pieces that are scattered around. Going by their size and build, you deduce that the remains belong to a teenager. Oh Gott, ist das jetzt hier sie gewesen? Maybe they belong to the missing girl that Bowman is looking for? Ja, sonst nichts machen, ne? Erstmal weitergehen. Hey! Freeze! Das werde ich wahrscheinlich beschuldigt, ne? Who are you? And why are you wearing Chief Floyd's jacket? Take it easy, boys. He's with me. Are you sure? Yes, he's my new deputy. I need to talk to him. I know there has been no luck, but thank you very much for your help. We will keep in touch. Jetzt sehen die Leiche und ich bin jetzt, muss mich erstmal rechtfertigen. What are you doing here? Are you lost? I think I found the girl. Her corpse. What? Where? Here, come. Okay, flat. What? Where is it, Ellen? It was here. That lock? I swear, never mind. You haven't even been here for 24 hours and you are already seeing visions like the locals. I don't know, Rick. I thought that it doesn't matter. We could not find the girl. Either the earth has swallowed her up or most likely someone has snatched her. I will issue a search warrant beyond Serena. I hope I'm wrong and she shows up somewhere, preferably alive. Have you talked to Daggett? Yes. So, he said a witch appeared in the river and ate his dog. A witch, huh? Fuck. The girl is missing and this idiot wants me to deal with the witch feasting on his pooch. Obviously, the part about the witch is hogwash. But there was a bloody stone next to the dog. I very much doubt that the dog hit his head on it and died. I think that someone used it to crush his skull. You know what I think? I think Daggett was the one who killed the mutt. Why would he kill his own dog? If I knew what happened inside these people's heads, I would become a shrink and make a fortune here. I don't know, Al. Maybe the pooch was old and no longer useful to Daggett as a hunting dog. Maybe he was fed up with him, smashed his head in, and then felt remorse for what he did. To avoid admitting it, he makes up that witch story and comes busting my balls to get some extra attention. Case closed. Whatever you say, you're the expert. Let's move on to something more important. I've been talking to Mike and Fred about your stuff, the Keller thing. They have no idea, but Fred said that Father Adamson had some relationship with him. You could go and ask him. He has a lot of free time. No one in town goes to church. Not even Jesus drops by. Get it? No location church. By the way, where were you headed? To the bridge. Be careful in those woods. You wouldn't be the first one to get lost. You'd better get back to town. I'll show you a shorter way to the bridge. Es ist schon fast gar nicht so ein richtiges Adventure. Man hat gar nicht so viele Rätsel. Man ist eigentlich fast die ganze Zeit nur am Quatschen. Okay, ich gehe nochmal zur Bridge. Jetzt den richtigen Weg. Ist das da unten ein Hund? Okay, unshown flowers. Every week, Robert Saxon religiously changes what used to be his wife's favorite flowers. Crow. Probably influenced by the use of this animal as an ill omen in literature, crows have always struck you as ominous creatures. Rocks unshown. There's a small teddy bear trapped among the rocks. Das Ding ist jetzt, ich bin auch wegen diesem Skelett eben, ich bin gespannt, ob sich das jetzt als übernatürlich herausstellt und ich habe Halluzination, oder es hätte auch sein können, dass die anderen beiden Kerle halt alle unter einem Dach stehen mit diesem Dorf irgendwie, das ist ja auch so ein berühmtes Motiv, oder beliebtes Motiv, und eben schnell die Leiche weggenommen haben, bevor ich mit dem Police-Typen da angedackelt kam. Junk. The people of the arena keep complaining about how the factories in Wade Creek used to dump all their waste in the river. The fact that they themselves use the river as a landfill is another story. Benutzen. You can't reach all the junk from the bridge. Benutzen rocks. You can't reach the stuffed animal from the bridge. Crow. You have no intention of disturbing the crow. Also, it wouldn't hurt if it stopped cawing so frequently. Benutzen die Flowers. Respect Saxon's grief, Alan. Okay, Robert Saxon. Robert Saxon stares at the horizon, losing himself in his memories. Okay, dann reden wir mit ihm. Robert Saxon? Yeah. Gordon Daggett told me I would find you here. What do you need? Did you know a variety reporter who was in Serena some years ago? Sure, Bill. Bill Eastman. He was a friend of mine. Not many people from Los Angeles used to come to Serena. You're from Los Angeles too, right? How did you know that I'm from LA? The way you talk, I guess. Did he ever mention Edward Keller's name to you? Yes, of course, that was the reason he ended up here. It had been a few months since Keller had moved into Serena when Bill arrived with the intention of interviewing him. Keller turned him down several times until he finally budged. Do you know where I can find him? He married Florence, a local girl, and they moved to Wade Creek. He didn't want to go back to Los Angeles, let alone stay in Serena. Also, they didn't intend to go too far away either. Florence had a sister here. I haven't seen them since they left. They haven't shown up around town either, so I can't tell you exactly where he lives. By the way, what do you want with Bill? I'm looking for Keller. I think your friend might be able to give me some clue about where I can find him. Keller, a sinister fellow. He used to be seen walking around town, but we never knew where he lived. Do you think Bill might know? I hope so. Let's see. Bill used to write for the Serena Gazette, the closest thing to a newspaper we've ever had. I know that sometime later the publication was still receiving articles from him. His address might be in the Gazette's archives, if you can get to them. What do you mean? The Serena Gazette was edited in a basement below Stephen Talbot's repair shop. Many years ago, Fred Gunton, the tenant, got fed up with Talbot and not paying the rent, so he threatened to kick him out. Talbot's answer was to take a bulldozer and tear down the repair shop. That's Serena for you. Sanity is a rare trait around these parts. The Gazette is still there, under the debris. If you can get to it, you might be able to find Bill's address. You locate in the Serena Gazette. Daggett said you come here every day. Yes. My wife, she hanged herself from this bridge. I'm sorry. She couldn't bear the death of her daughter Nancy. May I ask how your daughter died? Forget it, pardon my impertinence. Don't worry. It's a pleasure to talk to someone from out of town, even if it is about this. People around here are not very prone to conversation. They are quite special. You're not from here? No, San Francisco. We wanted a change of scenery and to live in a small town surrounded by nature. And we made the worst choice of our lives by moving to this damn town. My daughter Nancy died in the high school fire. I've heard about it. Serena's history is written in blood. There have always been misfortunes here. But what happened to the high school? They had a small basketball team. It wasn't even federated. But they brought in all the youth every Friday. When the fire started, most of the town was there. Parents, young people, children, Nancy. How did the fire happen? Were there any survivors? A gas leak, they said. The fire dilated the door of the gym and no one was able to open it. 80 people burned to death. There were no survivors. A real tragedy. I'm so sorry about your daughter. Kate suffered from severe depression. I couldn't do anything for her, and the only way out she saw was to... It's alright, I understand. I come here every day to mourn her death. I have no tears left, but I have nothing else to do in this damn town. Can you tell me something about Keller? What little I know is what Bill told me. Apparently he came here to shoot a movie. Sorry, so viel reden macht man Hals trocken. But we never saw any cameras or equipment. What happened to Keller? I have no idea. One day he was no longer here. He disappeared just as suddenly as he had arrived. Achso, das habe ich gerade alles durch. I must go. Take care. Gehen wir erstmal hier hin. Bulletin board. Among the service schedules and activities Father Adamson used to organize back in the day, you can see Mary Elizabeth Hellman's missing person poster. He deeply mourned the young woman's disappearance, and together with Chief Floyd, he was one of the arena's most committed participants in her church. Nutzen? Oh. Okay, wieder das gleiche Poster. Window. The small window has no latch and is impossible to close. On stormy days like these, it usually opens violently, causing an annoying noise that drives Father Adamson crazy. That is why he nailed it in place with a board instead of going for the more logical option of installing a latch on the inside. For a small church lost in a town as remote as the arena, its beautiful stained glass windows could be the envy of the finest European cathedrals. Benutze das? Oh, okay. The thick tinted glass prevents you from clearly seeing inside the church. Benutze das? The board is securely fastened to the window with 4 nails. It would be impossible for you to pry it off with your bare hands. Probably for the better. Father Adamson can't stand the constant banging of the window on stormy days like this. Okay, door anschauen. The doors of the church always remain open, even when Father Adamson is absent. Welcome to the Temple of Jesus Christ. Chief Bowman's deputy, I see. Yes. And let me guess, you are not a believer either. Well, I only believe in Alfred Hitchcock and Martin Scorsese. You try to emphasize the joke with a smile, but stop yourself knowing that humor is not your strong suit, as Father Adamson is finding out. You've come to tell me that Sarah Jordan has turned up safe and sound, right? No such luck. God help us all. Chief Bowman moved heaven and earth to find that poor soul. Will you pray with me? We could use some extra help from up there to find Sarah. Maybe another time. Don't worry, I'm used to praying alone. With your permission, I will continue to do so. Okay. Okay, confessional. Father Adamson still remembers who the last person to confess was. That was many years ago, before the entire population of Sharina turned its back on religion. Benutzen? You're not willing to confess all your miseries to a stranger, even less so if he's going to give you homework afterwards. Okay, das Buch ist die Bibel, ist natürlich sehr auffällig. A Bible rests on one of the benches. Yep. You read the psalm from a random page. Without much to say, I said to the man, "Are you trying to tempt me? Because I come from the lands of plenty." Your inventory, Bible. Okay, picture, anschauen. A good sample of generic religious art benutzen. It could be a visual representation of the passage, let the children come to me. Or not, you don't know much about the Bible. Toolbox anschauen. Due to the lack of parishioners, Father Adamson has a lot of time on his hands. Lately he has been doing various maintenance jobs around the church. Like for instance pulling rusty nails from some of the floorboards. Benutzen. Inside the toolbox there is only an assortment of screws mixed with the sawdust. There's also a pair of pliers that you borrow with the intention of returning them later to Father Adamson. Ist das eine Kneifzange? Ja. Is this picture? It is a portrayal of Jesus Christ with blue eyes and features as if he had been born in Iowa instead of Bethlehem. Ah ja. Jesus war halt wahrscheinlich kein Weißer, logischerweise. So, Father Adamson. Father Adamson's eyes are fixed on the horizon as he mutters prayers under his breath. Reden? Father, I'm glad to see someone walk through these doors after so many years. Also, unfortunately, not to pray. How may I help you? I've been told that you don't have many congregants. No, and it's been many years now. Aren't they religious in Serena? They were. Or they still are, I hope, but they don't go to church anymore. Why is that? I think there was a misunderstanding. You're new around here, but have you heard about the Clark Morgan High School fire? Yes, horrible. The worst tragedy we experienced in years. Serena has always been a very quiet town. It has never had any leisure activities except for basketball. People rooted for the high school team and the Friday games were always a big event. That night, most of the town was there, teenagers, grandparents, parents with small children. They all perished in the flames. I held a funeral for all those poor souls and my words did not sit well with the relatives. Das Skelett, was wir gesehen haben, sah ja auch aus, als hätte es gebrannt, ne? Das hat doch gequalmt vorhin, oder? In my lecture I said that we all mourned such a loss and that we should be proud because God has a plan for them. God's ways are inscrutable, aren't they? God wanted them at his side. Forgive me, Father, but it is pretty insensitive to say those words to a parent who has lost their children. Das sehe ich übrigens auch so, glaube ich. Perhaps pedagogy is not your fault. Bless your ignorance, deputy, but that's how it happened. The people of Serena turned their backs on God. They refused to have anything to do with him or me. Have you tried to bring them back? Yes, of course, but I've made it worse. I suppose you have noticed that the church lacks an altar. It's hard not to notice. My pleas for them to return to the church were answered with violence. They tried to burn down the church. Looks like they don't beat around the bush around here. A couple of times I have caught someone trying to burn or vandalize the altar. It's a piece of 17th century craftsmanship brought back from one of my trips to Europe. I can't risk losing it, that's why I keep it locked in the basement. It's not a good place for it, but there's no longer any use for it up here, unfortunately. I would like to talk about Edward Keller. Edward Keller. A peculiar guy, if I'm being honest. His time in Serena caused some commotion. Why? Someone from Hollywood arrived here with the intention of shooting a movie will always arouse passions in a town as quiet as this one. People went crazy, everyone wanted to appear in the film or help in some way, but the shoot never took place. Unless he was shooting another kind of film, Keller was rarely seen without his little 60mm camera. Ich dachte, man hat keine Kameras hier gesehen. I have been told that you had some kind of relationship with him. Not at first. I tried to convince him to come to Mass, but he wasn't a religious man, which I respect, and neither are you, but that doesn't stop us from having a nice chat. Keller was, so to speak, the complete opposite of you. From what I've heard, he didn't inspire much sympathy. A couple of months later, he came to see me. He was dying. He wanted to be buried in Serena, and for me to take care of it. Keller died here in Serena? Yes, his remains lie in a crypt inside the mausoleum at the Serena Cemetery. Okay, my location cemetery. What did Keller die of? Cancer. The damned scourge. We talked about his burial for a week. The mausoleum has several empty crypts. He thought it was the perfect place for his body to rest eternally. He used to come see me daily with precise instructions such as the orientation of the tomb, or to insist that no one should have a copy of the key to the crypt. Very strange and specific requirements. Do you have a key to the crypt? I only know that he had a copy of the key, but who knows where it is? What was the reason for all these instructions? He was a man of very few words and concise answers. One day I went to ask him why he wanted to be so meticulous about his eternal rest. I never knew. I found his body on the floor. Where did he live? He occupied the former home of the Marsh family. It had been abandoned for almost a century. There's a road on the left to the entrance to the village. If you follow it to the end, you will find it, the house. Viele neue Locations, wo hoffentlich nicht überall wieder ewig mit Leuten reden muss. He was not a believer, but he had a funeral and a Christian burial. That didn't matter to him. He just wanted his remains to rest in this town. No one came to his funeral. I tried to contact his relatives, but I couldn't find any. Thank you for your help. If I may ask, what interest do you have in Keller? Few people remember him anymore. Police matters? Something like that. So he didn't shoot a movie here. My guess is that if he always carried his camera with him, he must have shot something. But he didn't have a film crew with him, people, you know. The one thing I saw him do was film people with his little camera, and they were happy to oblige. Keine Ahnung, wie man das ausspricht. Did they act? No, they simply started at the camera in silence. I have no idea what he wanted that footage for. Thank you for your time. You are welcome, Deputy. As much as I enjoy talking to God every once in a while, it is good for me to talk to someone else. Baptismal font. Practically the entire population of Serena passed through that baptismal font shortly after birth. The last to do so was Mary Elizabeth Hellman, who is currently missing. Benutzen? It's probably the purest, clearest water you have seen since you were in Serena. Banner, anschauen. The phrase Jesus wants the best for you is embroidered in gold lettering. The banner doesn't interest you enough to examine it further. Door. The closer you get to the door, the more intense the smell of wax and dampness becomes, almost unbearable. I kept it locked. I keep valuables in there and I want to keep them safe. Okay. Achso, zum Altar darf ich auch gar nicht, also wo der Bär darf ich auch gar nicht hin, offensichtlich. Okay. Oh, I didn't take you for a religious man, Mr. Goldberg. Fuck, I can't believe this. You followed me all the way here? I told you that Mr. Ross was not used to getting a no for an answer. Mr. Ross ist doch bestimmt Keller, oder? Don't worry about me, I'm only here as an observer. Observer my ass. If I find Kellers Film, wobei, macht natürlich storymäßig aktuell wenig Sinn, dass er auch diesen Film sucht, wenn er ihn selber gemacht hat, aber irgendwie wird er sich noch entlarven als irgendwer. If I find Kellers Film, you will see to it that it doesn't make it to Helen's hand, won't you? Do not speculate. Mr. Ross only wants to look after his investment. Investment? Damn it, what investment? That film does not belong exclusively to you, Mr. Goldberg. Okay, vielleicht ist doch sein Film. Hat ihn verloren oder so. What are you going to do when you get that film? Let me guess, you are going to take it from me. And you will do it at gunpoint, won't you? This is not one of your movies, Mr. Goldberg. Mr. Ross might triple his offer when the time comes. That will be all. Bullshit. Believe whatever you want, Mr. Goldberg. I'm going to report you to the chief. I see you are dressed as a chief of police? Nice strategy. Everyone will be willing to offer their assistance to a law enforcement officer. Anyway, why would you report me? For harassment, damn it. You haven't stopped doing it since Los Angeles. I'm just visiting this charming town. I don't believe I'm committing any crime. Don't get in my way. I can't help but notice the threatening tone in your words. You don't need to worry, I'm here to help. You want to help, huh? Get out of my sight. Anyway, if you need help, I don't need any help, least of all from you. One never knows, Mr. Goldberg. One never knows. Damn it. Gehen wir mal hier hin. Das Arena Gazette. Sieht ein bisschen aus wie das, wo diese Filmproduktionsfirma war. Na egal. Also wir haben hier Debris. Several objects protrude from the debris. Anschauen. We rummage through the debris for anything useful. There's nothing useful except for an old gas can that still seems to have some fuel left. Okay. Go inside. Oh no, shit. Oh fuck. Ouch. Shit. Getting up from the ground so quickly takes a toll. You feel a sudden dizziness and notice the tremendous pain caused by the concussion from falling down the shaft. I hope that damn Film ist versatile. Okay, hier gibt's anscheinend einiges. Desk anschauen. Documents, newspaper clippings, the occasional book, and a typewriter have been gathered just since Stephen Talbot razed the building with his bulldozer. You look at each and every one of the trays on the desk. A small key under several newspapers clipping catches your eye. Okay. Hello? Anybody here? Tja, ist das Schlüssel zum Mausoleum vielleicht? Map, anschauen. You've taken Serena's map out of your jacket so many times that you practically know all the streets and places by heart. You already have a smaller and more practical one. Okay. File cabinet, anschauen. The label on the middle drawer has the word collaborators written on it. Bill Eastman's address should be listed inside. Yes. Closed. Ach so. Dafür ist er da. Okay. You swear you saw something, wouldn't you? That's why you turned around, because you felt a presence down here. No. Okay, jetzt beginne ich mit dem Erzähler zu reden? Oder ist das mein Unterbewusstsein oder sowas? Let's see. Bill Eastman. You browse through the documents in alphabetical order. Das Interessante ist auch, dass sie gehangen ist, ne? Wie die Frau von dem da auf der Brücke. You browse through the documents in alphabetical order. Here it is. Bill Eastman. Vale Street 14, Wade Creek. Nochmal wieder eine neue Location. Alan? Are you there? Rick? Down here. I drove by and saw you going into Talbot's old repair shop. Then I lost track of you. You can't climb up there, can you? You will have to give me a hand. Jack Morton has one of those rope ladders. I'll ask him for it. Shit. Where would I go? Adjust the figure of speech. Mind your step, the ground is not stable. I'm a cop, Alan. Safety is the most... Ich hoffe, er ist jetzt nicht tot. Rick? Are you okay? Okay. Damn, goddammit, Jesus Christ. Can you move? Yes, I believe so. Who would have thought that being overweight would save me from breaking my back? My fat ass has cushioned the fall. Shall I help you get up? No, don't worry, I can do it. Here goes. fuck, it hurts all over. The old Tirina Gazette. This place gives people the creeps. Why? A few months before the high school fire, a teenage girl was working as an intern there. She had a relationship with the editor of the Gazette, the son of a bitch, as a minor. The guy got tired of the relationship and fired the girl. She used to come around here, but that guy gave her the runaround. The poor girl couldn't think of anything else to get his attention than, well, blackmailing him with taking her own life. And she went too far. Such a shame, she was only a teenager. Do you have kids, Ellen? No, do you? A daughter. She doesn't talk to me. Well, she yells at me, but that's not talking. Anyway, months after the suicide, the editor of the Gazette began to say that he couldn't hear the girl moaning, you know? Soon the word spread that this building was haunted. You believe that story? No, but the townspeople do. You might hear that Talbot destroyed the building because of the rent troubles and whatnot. But that bastard tore down the repair shop because he was afraid of what was going on here. That's what's happened. How's that sound? I'm sick of being in here. Let's find a way out. Yeah, let's get to work. Okay. Newspapers anschauen. A stack of newspapers dating back to the beginning of the decade. Benutzen? One of them might mention Edward Keller, but you have neither time nor the will to find it out. Sure. Anschauen? Through the hole you hear a strong water current, which makes you think that the drain flows directly into Serena's sewer system and not into a pipe. Benutzen? I can't do it. Can you give me a hand? Of course. Come on. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. We have no choice but to get in there, right? Not unless we grow wings and fly out of that hole. Once we get to the sewers, it shouldn't be too hard to get out of there. Well then, after you. Nein, Quiet, Ellen, sagt er zu mir. Did you hear that? Ach so, ich dachte schon. Yeah, I've heard it before too. I don't think we're alone here. For heaven's sake, what? Okay. Oh my god. Ellen, jump! Noch gar nicht alles angeguckt. See, I didn't need your help to climb up. I'm a man of action. I asked you if you wanted help because I saw that you were having a hard time getting out of the water. I don't know what's going on with me, but my heart is beating out of my chest. You saw the same thing I did, didn't you? I know I saw something that couldn't possibly have been there. It was a ghost, Ellen. We are having the same hallucinations as the people of Serena. I told you, it's because of the water. I've not drunk Serena's water. No? What about the coffee you had at the police station? It ran out of bottled water and made coffee with tap water. And we both had the same hallucination? Because you saw what I saw. A woman, right? Yes, fuck yes. Shit, Ellen, I'm just trying to make sense of all this. I know, Rick. I'm wrecking my brains too. And why are you so calm? Oh shit, Ellen. What's wrong with you? My heart. It feels as if it's jumping out of my chest. I'm having a heart attack. What? Oh damn, oh damn! Calm down, it must be an anxiety attack. You wouldn't dare leave me stuck here with a corpse, would you? No, get off. You're a Hollywood screenwriter, not a doctor. Shit. Lean back against that wall. Easy, little by little. Now what? Breathe in deeply, hold your breath for a few seconds and exhale gently. Have you ever had an anxiety attack? No, but I work in the movie industry. I see them very often. Keep it up. Breath in deep. Keep it up. Feeling better? I think so. No, I don't know. Hey, Ellen. At Wade Creek I've seen it all, believe me. Things that would scare anyone. Warte mal, Wade Creek, das war doch... Wer hat denn nochmal von Wade Creek gesprochen? I've been trained to keep a cool head at all times, but this, I felt an overwhelming fear. This is not like me. I've never experienced this feeling in my life. Tell me about it later, okay? Right now you need to calm down. Don't think about anything. Try to keep your mind blank. Yes. In the meantime, I will try to find us a way out of here. Ellen, yeah? If I don't make it out of this, tell my daughter that I love her very much. I know I should have spent more time with her and her name is Claire. Claire Bauman. Claire. Okay. She lives in Wade Creek and you'll tell her yourself. Now you know mind blank, okay? Yes, mind blank. Diese glaube ich, dass er tot ist, wenn ich bald wieder hier zurückkomme. Okay, Electrical Panel anschauen. A series of switches inside control the light of this part of the sewer. Benutzen? It is locked, natürlich. Rick Bauman. You see Rick when slightly every time he breathes in. He seems to be handling it quite well, so your guess of an anxiety attack rather than a heart attack seems to be correct. I hope I'm not wrong. Reden mit ihm? Rick seems to be recovering. He's not going to be able to help you at the moment. Okay. Links is exit, rechts is exit. Water. The rain falling incessantly on the arenas causes the level of the sewers to rise steadily. You've already been there. You don't want to dive back into that water. Okay. Exit nach links. Ich gehe mal direkt zurück. Lebt er noch? Ja, okay, immerhin. Great. Behind the ventilation grill is an air duct large enough for one person. Nutzen. The grill would yield were it not secured by a single screw on the lower right side. Das Ding ist, das Spiel kann ja eigentlich nicht wissen, dass ich diese Sachen schon gefunden habe, oder? The head of the screw barely protrudes from the surface of the grid. It would be very difficult, almost impossible, to unscrew it with such a tool. Okay. Door anschauen. A metal door corroded by humidity and the passage of time provides access to another part of the facility. Ach, das heißt, die ist offen, oder was? The door is locked from the inside. Ja, wäre auch sonst komisch. Hier ist ja sogar so eine was Leiter-ähnliches. Arch. There used to be an access hatch there that was connected to Caldecott Street. Nobody knows why the entrance was bricked up. Benutzen. There's no way to exit it unless you are equipped with a good pickaxe and plenty of time. Warning sign anschauen. It's a warning to sewer workers. It warns of possible wall collapses in this area. Benutzen. You make a mental note to make your way carefully through the sewer and keep an eye on any possible signs of cave-in. Darkness. Darkness anschauen. The sewer network faces the darkness in that direction. Benutzen. There are several factors that prevent you from going into that pitch black area. First and foremost is the risk of collapse as indicated by the sign, but also the lack of a little light source. For safety it would be best to be accompanied by Rick Bowman. So, dann haben wir hier die Closes. The uniform belongs to Billy Green Hickey, the Wade Creek Sewer Maintenance Service Officer. A year ago, he was sent here to perform a visual inspection of the conditions of the arena's subterranean infrastructure. He never returned home. Okay. Woher weiß ich das? Der Erzähler weiß wieder mehr als ich hier. The screwdrivers protrudes from one of the pockets. Ah ja, ich habe mir schon gedacht, dass die jetzt nämlich das haben, womit ich dann links das öffnen kann. Oh, Plank ist hier noch. An old plank rests on the wall. Benutzen. Oh. You touch the plank and discover that it is rotten to the point that it might fall apart if you took it with you. Okay. Oh, er ist weg. I think there's no way out of... Rick? Hey, Rick. Damn it, where did he go? Tür ist auf. Oh, die Tür ist wieder zu. Rick, are you there? Okay, machen wir es so. The flat tip of your screwdriver is too large to fit into the Phillips screw. What? Achso, kann ich das... Really? When you open the Bible, you find what at first glance seems to be a small key, but it actually is a small crucifix. Okay, nice. Achso, die Bibel ist jetzt auch weg, aber das hilft mir wenig. Auch hier kann das Spiel nicht wissen, dass ich ja schon eingesammelt habe. Kann ich mit dem Schraubenzieher das hier aufmachen? Okay. You find another screwdriver inside. This time it's the Phillips screwdriver. You don't think you'll use the other one anymore, so you replace it with this one. Okay, das Spiel hält mein Inventory sauber, nett. You hold in your hand the screw you just removed. You pocket it. Okay. Habe ich einen Screwdriver noch? Ne, der ist auch direkt jetzt erstmal wieder weggenommen worden. Are you listening to me? Gott, wer ist er denn? Wake up! What's going on here? Rick? Damn it, I'm talking to you. What's the... I said wake up. Tell me, did you bring one of those monsters with you? What? What is this bullshit? Did you do this? Get me down from here. I'm an officer of the law, you fucking asshole. Don't yell at me. I can't stand being yelled at. Oh yeah? I can't stand being hanged like an animal either. Put me the fuck down. You're in big trouble, motherfucker. I don't think so. Nobody's going to find out, you know, just like they never found out what happened to that maintenance guy. Just a sec. What are you going to do? I can't feed on rats forever, you know. You're going to eat me, you son of a bitch? I've got to survive down here. One can no longer stay on the surface. It's full of monsters up there. They make you feel a terrible fear until you die of a heart attack. Like Christy and Murray. Those monsters won't get me down here. I swear by all that's holy that if I get down from here, the only thing you are going to eat is my fist. Nothing personal, Chief. Jetzt wird er ermordet. Es ist auch nicht clever, wie er mit ihm redet. I wish there was another way, but if someone has to live, it'd rather be me. Was? Bob Wells has been living in the sewer for a year. Bob Wells, warte mal. Bob Wells war der Journalist, oder? Operation like the ones you witnessed a few minutes ago undermined his sanity. Since then he believes he is safe from them down here. Mit ihm reden? I start by cutting off one of your feet. With that I can feed myself for a couple of days. Get me down from here, you son of a bitch. You knocked down Barry Mitchell with one punch. Maybe it was luck or you caught him off guard. But first and foremost, he was unarmed. Was? You knocked down Barry? Wer? Was? Wer sagt das? Was? You know you have to get... Ach so, das war da... You know you have to get rid of him in order to free Rick. But for both your safety and his, violence is not an option this time. Trash. Anschauen. Living in the sewers, feeding on rats and occasionally humans is not incompatible with keeping this place moderately tidy. Rick Bowman. Rick does everything he can to escape the situation, but it is impossible. Rope. The rope from which Rick is hanging like a carcass in a slaughterhouse is tied to that pipe. Pots and pans. From time to time, Bob Wells will venture beyond its limits, specifically to a small landfill near the sewer inlet. There he stocks up on pots, pans, and frying pans, so he can cook the only thing he considers edible down here. Rats, other clueless animals, and any person unlucky enough to get within his reach. Okay, kann ich einfach davon benutzen? Trash. Bob will see you if you try to rummage through the trash. Rope. You can't get closer without attracting Bob's attention. Doing that could have unforeseen consequences for you and Rick. Pots and cans. Bob Wells' cookware is stacked carelessly. It is strange that they haven't fallen to the ground due to their own weight. Das Spiel weiß ja eigentlich nur aktuell, dass ich den Nagel habe, ne? Try to get his attention in some other way without getting caught. Dahin? Okay. What was that? Ah! Must have been a damn rat. I'm sick of feeding on them. Do you understand now why I'm doing this? Steht er da? Okay. Kann ich jetzt dahin gehen? Rat. Bob was cooking his usual dinner when, to his surprise, he discovered that he could switch up the menu. Benutzen? The stench of waste and decay emanating from that rat prevents you from getting closer to it. Drum. Anschauen? Several vegetables that even a fasting rat wouldn't eat float in more than 5 gallons of constantly boiling water. Everything indicates that Bob prefers to boil his victims rather than grilling or frying them. Nutzen? You will burn your hands if you try rocking the drum until you knock it over. If you're thinking of kicking it, consider first whether you have the strength to knock over a drum loaded with more than 5 gallons of water. Bottles, anschauen. On days like this, Bob Wells usually collects the rainwater that seeps through the manhole covers on the asphalt. Otherwise, he makes do with the water running down the sewer. You wonder how he can still be alive with no apparent symptoms of cholera or dysentery. Die kann ich vielleicht nehmen als Ablenkung? Ja, die kann man nämlich schön werfen. Ladder. The dim light from the outside filters through the manhole cover that the ladder leads to. You can finally get out of here. Warte mal, ich speichere mal kurz ab. Kann ich? One reasonable approach would be to go outside and ask for help, but by the time help arrives, it may be too late. You decide not to leave Rick behind. Okay, das Spiel hat natürlich keine so eine Möglichkeiten. Do you hear the sound of boiling water, Chief? I believe that in a couple of minutes the stew will be ready. It's only missing the main ingredient. You're running out of time, Ellen. If you insist to save Rick, do something now. I love the sound of the water bubbling. You know what that means, Chief? Only a couple of minutes left for the stew. If you are still conscious, I might give you a taste of your own meat. It's not viel steak, but it's a hell of a lot better than a red meat. Anscheinend darf ich da nicht wieder raus, okay. Das mit der Drum. Achso, kann es so löschen. What? Impossible. The water has stopped boiling? I'm going to see what's going on. Don't go anywhere, okay? Son of a bitch. Versteckt mich natürlich. Okay, jetzt bin ich da. Dann ist er da. Jetzt kann ich wahrscheinlich nach links raus. Das macht er sogar selber. What the fuck is going on here? Rick. Alan, come on, untie me. Hurry up. Okay, das macht er jetzt sogar auch selbstständig. What the hell? But how? Surprise! Not one step further, you fucking degenerate. Watch out, Rick, he's got a machete. And I have a gun. What do you mean by that? Drop the knife, you degenerate cannibal. You're not taking me back to the surface. I'd rather die than... Hat er ihm das Messer rausgeschossen? You're quite the marksman. Oh, I was pointing at his shoulder. And you, hands up. What are you going to do with them? What I would like to do with them would land me in jail. All I know is that I don't want to have this scum around. I call the guys at Wade Creek and have them take him down here. You're lucky, you son of a bitch. You're going to eat normal for once in your life. Said you are not going to take me to the surface. Shut up. I should have slit you open while I had the chance. Look, you have just exhausted my patience. Whoa. That's it. What are you doing? Was that necessary? What? Hitting him with the butt of the gun and knocking him out? I wouldn't have done it if he had only run a stop sign with his car. He wanted to fucking eat me. What you just did is called police brutality. Ach man, komm. Echt ernsthaft, darüber müssen wir jetzt diskutieren gerade? Do you think I'm a LA copper? Do you want to bust my balls? Because if you're going to bust my balls like this guy did, I can hit you with the butt of my gun too. Relax, will you? I'm relaxed. I see. It's all over now. So take it easy. Fuck, Ellen. Nothing affects you? How can you be so cold? I don't know, I'm just like that. Alright, I'm calm. And, sorry I didn't tell you sooner, but thanks for saving my life. No problem, Rick. Forget about it. I found an exit to the surface. It's in that room. Really? Great. I'll stay here and tie up the cannibal with that rope before he wakes up. Do what you have to do. I'll see you later, okay? There are some things we need to talk about. What things? Well, the kind of stuff people like this hick are saying. They are right, Ellen. Serena is haunted. You know what, Rick? I think I'll stick with your theory about the polluted water. It is far more rational than accepting we have seen something supernatural. Think whatever you want. I know what I saw. And so do you. We'll talk about it later, okay? Be careful. Ghosts, cannibals. What's next? You look around while breathing heavily so your lungs will fill with clean air as quickly as possible. A plaque on one of the buildings indicates that you are on Serena's main street. Okay, so I'd like to know your location. Jenny's fashion. Jenny Andrews dressed generations of boys for the prom. A week before the fateful Clark Morgan High School fire, Jenny received all the suits that the boys would wear on one of the best nights of their lives. Jenny couldn't bear such a tragedy. She cried every time she saw all those clothes on the hangers and ended up shutting down her business. It has been closed ever since. Benutzen? The clothes and accessories inside have been collecting dust for 15 years. No one has set foot inside Jenny's fashion since it closed. Okay. Haben wir hier eine Door. There's barely enough light inside to perceive any shapes, but you hear the occasional cat mewing. Knocking on every door to get information about Keller is not the most rational course of action. Das ist richtig, liebes Spiel, das gebe ich zu. Oh, hier ist ja jemand in der Telefonzelle, sehe ich jetzt erst. Matt Fridley has been hogging the VK107 phone line for some time now, shutting out those who also want to provide some insight into Sarah Jordan's disappearance. Benutzen. Matt Fridley talks non-stop. You can barely hear what he's saying. However, you can catch a few stray words through the cabin vents. Hardware store. O'Connell's old hardware store has been closed for more than 10 years. His son didn't want to carry on with the family legacy, as his dream was always to escape Serena and live his own life. He ended up committing suicide a year later in Wade Creek. Dieses Wade Creek ist auch nicht so der geile Ort, huh? Das sind wieder Poster von ihr, von Mary. Mary Elizabeth Hellman's posters taped to the shutter of O'Connell's old hardware store have withstood the elements for more than a decade. You've seen posters of Mary Elizabeth Hellman all over town, but not a single one for the recently missing Gerard Jordan. Ja, fällt mir auch langsam auf. Drugstore anschauen. The drugstore was one of the first businesses to open in Serena. It will probably be the last one to close its doors for good. Benutzen. Use the door L. Punkt. Okay. The old mainstream photograph dates back to 1936. Given how little it has changed, it could just as well have been taken 3 days ago. You take a closer look at the picture, and the only thing missing from it is a phone booth. Okay, medicines, the traditional home remedies and products from laboratories coexist on the shelf. Nutzen? You don't see any medicine you want to buy. Tobacco. We've always been fascinated by these places that sell both healthy and harmful products side by side. You notice that the design of the tobacco packages does not belong to this decade. Gum dispenser. As a child, you used this type of machine a lot. You enjoyed the ritual of putting in the penny and being surprised by the color. You got more than you liked actually eating them. Benutzen? Given that there have been no children in Serena for over a decade and that they were the only ones who came to buy chewing gum, these must be hard as rocks. Runter. Inside the display cases at the counter, you can see bottles of liquor, sodas, marmalade jars, and nuts. You haven't eaten anything since you woke up in the cell at the police station, and by now you should be hungry. But eating is the last thing on your mind right now. Weights. On the counter are several weights from an old scale. Oh, you pick up the smallest one without Paul Collins noticing. Paul Collins. Okay. Ein Weight. Warum auch immer. Ich darf nicht an fremde Türen klopfen, aber einfach ein Gewicht mitnehmen ist okay. Adventure Logic. The clock stopped running at 3 o'clock on April 24th, 1981. Paul Collins was grateful not to have to listen to the monotonous ticking of the clock hands in the silence of his establishment. You could tell Paul Collins to set the clock correctly, but he's probably aware of it already and has little interest in doing so. Warte mal, da war noch gerade Jar oder so, oder? Magazines. The Dusty Magazine section has issues that were already old before you were born. Several pulp magazines catch your eye. Not. Scary Tales. You read a paragraph. Was steht da noch drauf? The Possessor's Clue? The House of the Demons. Armed with courage, Rachel reached for the doorknob. Her daughter's screams faded as the door opened. Fearful of losing her again, she pushed the door with all her might and was met again by that massive stone figure. It can't be. We broke you into 1,000 pieces. Before painting, Rachel thought he saw a hint of a smile on his stony face. Not bad. For a moment you picture yourself at your desk writing a similar scene, as the figure doesn't appear when the door is opened, and instead Rachel discovers it behind her after having unsuccessfully shut the room. Bericht? Nee, habe ich aber nicht. Kann ich noch eins machen? Oh, cool. You read a paragraph. The incessant buzzing became increasingly louder the closer Ray got to it. Jack threw his hands to his head in a vain attempt to stop that piercing sound. Mind Control by Leonard Thinks. Do you want to know how I know that? His former co-worker asked when he was already less than a meter away from him. In his mind he forged an image of that fateful night when he thought he had been alone with Catherine. Ray was there in the shadows. He could see everything. Blood spurted from his ears and nostrils. He noticed his brain swelling before his head exploded into 1,000 pieces. I can still see Catherine, Jack. I'll stay with you for a while. I don't want to forget her, he said as he fiddled with the remains of what used to be her head just seconds earlier. Your story reminds you of David Cronenberg's Scanners and a bit of Brian De Palma's The Fury. You are sure that with that kind of material you could write a film closer to a horror than to the science fiction leanings of those two films. Okay, nächstes. Scary Tales. You read a paragraph. Harry grabbed the doll by its feet, ran out of the house and looked for his car through the heavy curtain of rain. He tossed it dismissively into the back seat and headed for the church as fast as the engine allowed him to go. Is this how my grandson treats me? A voice croaked from the back. He nervously looked towards the rearview mirror and swerved when he realized that the doll was no longer there. You've been a bad grandson, Harry, said the doll as she appeared in the passenger seat. You think a terrifying story about dolls coming to life would make a good movie that Ruskin would be happy to produce. Wait a minute, Elle. Not even 24 hours ago, the idea of writing something that wasn't a drama frustrated you, and now you are seriously considering a movie about killing dolls, killer dolls. Are you okay, Ellen? That's what I'm asking myself. Okay, ich habe ein Achievement bekommen, check also Partner gesehen. Das heißt, wenn ich nochmal eins nehme, geht das überhaupt? Das ist wieder das erste, okay. Hello? Okay, jetzt habe ich ihn versehentlich direkt angesprochen. If a deputy, as far as I can see. Oh yes, my name is Alan Goldberg. Paul Collins. Warte mal, oder war er der Journalist? Paul? Pleased to meet you. I think this is the first open establishment I've seen. And the only one. The owners of the few businesses that remained have either passed away or left Serena. The locals didn't care much. Repair shops? No one leaves this town, not even to go to Wade Creek. Explosives? They make do with what they already have. As for food, I have everything here. There are also a couple of farms in case anyone craves meat or eggs. Does the name Edward Keller sounds familiar? Yes, a weirdo who wanted to shoot a movie here. He died of a heart attack before finishing it. I think that's what's happened. I never cared much for him. I will take a look around the store. Perfect. Okay. Achso, wieso habe ich das automatisch gesagt? Also das Dialogsystem ist immer ein bisschen unentschieden. Okay, Advertisement habe ich noch nie angesehen. In the ad, Barbara Stanwyck says that ML cigarettes are the only cigarettes her doctor recommends. Nutzen? The actress looks very familiar to the time she starred in Flash by Night, so you estimate that the ad must date back more than 30 years. TV? There's a small TV station in Wade Creek that fills its schedule with public domain films. It is not unusual to tune in and run into classics like Night of the Living Dead or Carnival of Souls. Lutsen, you would have to stand behind the counter for that. If Paul Collins gave you his permission, of course. Wieder noch eine Tür. If you think the store is cramped, you should see the warehouse. There's no sign forbidding access to non-employees, but you don't need one to let you know that you can't go in there, right? Schauen wir Paul nochmal an. Paul Collins hasn't closed the shutters of the only business open today in Serena since 1956. Neither did his father since it first opened in 1927. He has never left the town and knows no life outside of the counter. And for him, that's more than enough. Deswegen guckt er immer Fernsehen, damit er irgendwie die weite Welt sieht. Verstehe. This place is ridiculous. Look at this. Ich benutze einfach mal alles mit ihm. Keine Ahnung. Aber alles hat eigentlich zugegeben wenig Sinn. Das habe ich das Gewicht von dir geklaut? Okay, ist aber auch trotzdem nicht interessiert. Ich glaube, ich habe es mir alles hier angeguckt. Okay. Ey, komm gar nicht hinterher mit den ganzen Orten. Gehen wir mal zum Friedhof, wo ja angeblich der Typ liegen soll. Shit! You startled me. What are you doing there? I wanted to take a look at the cemetery. It's not possible, I just closed it. She doesn't want to leave today. Who? Hair, damn it. Charlotte Wilkes. Who's Charlotte Wilkes? Thomas Wilkes' wife. She shows up at the mausoleum from time to time. I try to avoid her, but today she's been in there all day. Wait a minute, you mean it's a ghost? Yes. I don't want to be responsible for any misfortune, so the cemetery will remain closed until further notice. But wouldn't it be possible? No! That's not possible. And something tells me that you are going to try to get inside anyway, so I'm going to stand guard outside the door so you don't get any funny ideas. I have all day, is that clear? Oh, okay, er ist serious hier. Gate, anschauen. Willie Baxter had closed the access gate to the cemetery with a padlock and a sack chain. And as an extra security measure, he is setting up guards so that no one can enter. Benutzen? What are you trying to do? Nothing. I hope so. Willie Baxter. For 50 years, Willie Baxter has been the sole undertaker at Serena Cemetery, perhaps one of the most populated ones in the entire area due to the accumulation of misfortunes going back centuries before he took the job. Reden? Willie. How could I get into the cemetery? You're a law enforcement officer, aren't you? Get a warrant, and we would still have to talk it over. Do you really believe that there's a ghost in the cemetery? Not in the cemetery, in the mausoleum. And if I can't get rid of her, at least I can make her stay there. If she gets out of there, we will all be doomed. She was already cruel when she was alive, so I can't imagine how she will be in death. Is there anything I can do for you? You're being polite, so I let you in, right? Forget it, that won't work on me. Achso, das habe ich schon gehabt. I'm leaving. I'll be right here. I don't trust you. Okay. Oh, warte mal. So Parterre ist... Was? Willie also acts as a gardener, but only from the inside. That's why the entrance to the cemetery looks neglected, oh God, and overgrown with bushes and weeds. Among the weeds, dozens of earthworms struggle to crawl back into the soil that the rain has washed away. Die habe ich jetzt nicht genommen, ne? Was hilft mir das hier? Nee. Okay, gut, dann gibt's hier erstmal nichts zu tun. Marsh Family House. Wer war nochmal die Marsh Family? Es ist einfach so viel gerade, ey, an Input. Wall anschauen. The walls around the perimeter of the Marsh house are covered with dry vines as if they were trying to bury all the even hidden inside. Nutzen? No matter how low they are, it's easier for you to access the house through the entrance than to jump over them. Haus anschauen? The old marsh house seems to spread its ruin to the surrounding terrain. Nothing manages to grow here except for an uneasy feeling that the longer you stand in front of it. Okay, gehen wir mal zum Haus. Oh, okay. Das ist ein Filmprojektor auf jeden Fall. Hier ist ein Generator, das ist ein Filmprojektor, okay. Generator, the projector is connected so that rusty diesel generates with the cable. Benutzen. Doesn't seem to have a drop of fuel in it. Ich habe ja hier Fuel, aber machen wir gleich. Projector. An old 8mm projector is pointed at the wall. Benutzen. It has no power. Und da kümmern wir uns gleich drum. Erstmal nochmal schauen, was wir in diesem Raum hier haben. Dahin können wir gar nicht, oder doch? Nee. Den oben können wir vielleicht noch. Pentagram. Keller's obsession with the occult seems to have verged on insanity. Ach, Keller ist in dieses Haus, das war, ja, Keller ist in das Haus gezogen. Das hat ja der... Irgendjemand hat mir das erzählt. So viele Leute. War das der Priester? Ich weiß es nicht mehr. Upside down crosses, a ram's head, and several strange symbols make up the sinister pentagram that Keller drew with paint. You're not quite sure. Photo. The person with the gruff expression is Nelson Marsh, former owner of the place you are standing in. He spent the last few years of his life locked up in his house, avoiding any contact with the outside world. Anschauen, Nelson Marsh, was wir benutzen. Nelson Marsh's gaze seems to follow you no matter where you stand. Okay. Corridor. Okay, da kann ich wirklich hingehen. Several pieces of debris and part of the collapsed ceiling prevent you from reaching the corridor. Okay, room. Erstmal schauen. The ceiling collapsed on what appears to be the place Keller used as a dark room, judging by the chemicals and developing trace gathered on the floor. Sorry, bei Dark Room hatte ich gerade noch was anderes im Kopf. Was Richtung Bondage, aber ist ja auch das, wo man, glaube ich, Filme entwickelt, ne? Fotos entwickelt und so. Gut, dann filmen wir mal... Warte mal, die Vase noch? Nee. Gut, dann filmen wir mal was da rein, hä? Ach, es geht alles automatisch an. By illuminating the wall, you realize that there was a small cabinet hidden by the darkness. Small cabinet? Ach so, ach, da ist hier das Kästchen quasi. Aber kann ich den... Warte mal, mach ich erstmal das. The stair is a small cabinet, as if you could open it with your mind. Benutzen. Closed. You examine the small lock. It has the shape of a cross. Das war in der Bibel, die einfach in der Küche rumlag. Inside you see a key with a label. Okay. No, it can't be... Ach, das ist der Schlüssel zum Mausoleum. The key was lying on a small film reel. Is that the film you were looking for? There's only one way to find it out. Oh, okay. You place the film in the feed shaft and with a satisfied smile you flip the switch on the drive mode. Und hoffentlich verbrennt er jetzt nicht sofort oder so. Okay. The disease is spreading faster than I thought. Okay. I barely have any strength left. I'm running out of time. Also, coming to Serena to conclude the ritual was the best idea I ever had. The city's history has been written in blood since its foundation. There's no corner in town where there hasn't been a tragedy. This house, for example, is perfect for my intentions. I can still smell the misery. Nelson Marsh got up early that day. He butchered his 3 daughters and his wife before the clock struck 8. Still soaked in their blood, he had breakfast like any other day, and no one in town ever knew what had happened. They only discovered the bodies after Marsh died. The people of Serena didn't give it any importance. There can be no other place in the world more suitable for my job. Everything is ready. I think I have spent enough time on the invocations. Hat er vielleicht sich einen bösen Ort ausgesucht, damit er da die Leute für seinen Film töten kann? Weil das alles schlimme Menschen sind? Everything is okay. But I'm concerned about the final offerings. I can't afford to go little by little. I need to do something big, more than what is strictly required. This will ensure that the pact is carried out with all the guarantees. I can't wait to feel their fears, to shape them, to become... Wow, das hat mich kurz erschrocken. Ich hatte nicht erwartet, dass da jetzt so ein Effekt kommt. What the fuck? Wie können denn plötzlich die ganzen Kerzen angehen? Übernatürlich! What? Ja. Ist er es? Ist es Keller? Okay. Das ist doch der Typ... Das ist der eine von denen bei der Brücke vorhin, oder? Hey, you in the house. Ach so, das war auch nicht er. Get out of there, damn it. You look around the room hoping to see some trace of the phenomenon you have just witnessed. Are you deaf? I'm not going to repeat it anymore. Get the fuck out of there. Hey, you. Hat er ein Messer in der Hand? What the hell were you doing in there? Investigating. Investigating? Damn it, investigating what? That house is doomed. It always was. And even more so because of that film director. I don't need you to come and make everything worse. Take it easy, Paul. And put that iron rod down. Easy? I live right next door with my family. I don't want old Marsh to come and kill my family like he did with his own because of you. Because of me? For God's sake, will you stop threatening me with that thing? Are you giving me orders? Fuck it. Oh, Alter. That will teach you not to stick your nose where it doesn't belong. And don't come back here. Huh? Okay. Want to see what I shot, Alan? They are right. It's the scariest movie ever. Every film needs an audience. And this one even more so. It's all yours, Alan. Look for it, Alan. Alan! Oh my god, Alan, are you... My head. I feel as if some fucker hit you with this iron rod, right? Tell me who did this. That guy, he said he lived next door. Oh, Halloran. That damn hick. Do you want to report him, Alan? No, it's not necessary. Did I hear you say yes? Maybe this kind of thing is the norm in Los Angeles, but not here. At least not with me as chief of police. I'll go give that son of a bitch what he deserves right now. Let it be, Rick. What? Do you want an assault on a law enforcement officer to go unpunished? Because that's what you are, my friend. Take this. Okay, so habe ich auch einen Iron Rod. Don't let anyone assault you again. Also, I don't want you to go around cracking heads either. I'll pay Halloran a visit. I don't know if Chief Floyd tolerated these things, but I don't. Be careful, Alan. By the way, how's your quest for the film going? Keller used to live in this house. I went to take a look. And what did you find? No sign of it. Maybe it's somewhere else. Or someone in town has it. I hope so, Rick. I hope so. Und das ist jetzt der Moment, wo ich einmal speichere. Und das reicht dann auch für diese Session heute. Stay tuned. Bis zum nächsten Mal.